Alright, so... Ooh. Okay, there we go. So, as we get into the show tonight, we're doing things a little bit differently. In the past, we've sat down a lot, and, this show normally has the news, and then what I've been enjoying, the namesake of the podcast. But as we get closer to the Switch 2's official reveal direct, I want to make some more specific predictions. Focus in on certain aspects of the Switch, certain game ideas. I will admit, part of this is me stealing from Kinda Funny. Kinda Funny did a games cast that was basically like, hey, let's make a Mario Kart game. Let's predict the next Mario Kart. And I was like, you know what? That's a fun idea. I think they also did a let's predict a Mario game, let's predict a Zelda game. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to be predicting the next Mario Kart game. So we'll be talking about that today. But then, other than that, of course, we do have the main show still. We'll still do the news. I've got 2 stories on the news. Only one of them is video game related. And I do have the WIBE stuff. We got to talk about pizza. We've got to talk about Invincible. Oh boy, do we have to talk about Invincible. And Daredevil. My God, Daredevil. Holy shit. So we do have some things to talk about. But I'm basically introducing a third segment to the show. For the moment, I'm just calling it topic, in the same way I just call news. Maybe I'll think of a better name later on down the line, but for the moment, topic sounds fine to me. So yeah, and when we do the news, when we do the WIBE, that we'll have gameplay. I'm going to boot up Donkey Kong Country, I have it in my Switch, so we'll do that in a little bit. But yeah, we're in just chatting today, and we're going to predict a Mario Kart, we're going to do some tier lists. It'll be fun. Assuming my allergies don't kill me first. So let's talk topic of the show. So tonight, we're going to be predicting a Mario Kart game. That's the main idea. We know a new Mario Kart game is coming. Some people say it's Mario Kart 9. Some people say it's Mario Kart X, because Tour is 9. What is it actually going to be? Honestly, I have no idea. Most people seemingly don't know. And, I've admittedly already given some Mario Kart predictions in the past. I'd love to see this game go open world. I'm curious if they're going to do a Wonder Seed effect. My goal tonight is not to recover any ground. Retread? Yeah, pun intended. Let's not retread any ground. I want to talk about new things that we haven't talked about. Plus, I've got a main, crux of my argument, big twist, let's say. So what will and we won't be talking about? So our wills and our won'ts. So we will be talking about characters. Of course, I want to talk about characters. I've got some thoughts, go through a giant list. I want to look at returning tracks, let's make some custom tracks, play around with customization, or play around with what's returning. I want to talk about online. For now, I'm just going to call it online. I do have a specific idea when we actually get there. And oh boy, is this idea gonna piss some people off. Yeah, I should probably be hiding in a bunker. But I'm not worried. I'm not worried. It's gonna go over fine. And finally, real quickly, we'll talk about options, because there's one thing I specifically want, and I do want to mention it. Things we will not be talking about. New tracks. I don't really have any ideas for new tracks. There's always stuff I want, but, there's nothing any specific. I don't have any ideas for new items. Oh, woo, a Hammer Bros hammer. Oh, a Wonder Seed thing. I don't really have any ideas for new items outside of, stuff that's in Mario Kart Tour. So I'm not going to focus on that. We're not talking vehicles today either. I just don't really care. I don't know if they're going to do the Mario Kart 8 thing. I don't know if they're going to go like some of the old Mario Karts. where, certain characters can ride in certain carts like they did in DS and Wii. I don't know what we're going to do with this new Mario Kart. There are some interesting choices we've seen so far. Specifically with, Rosalina being on like a bobsled looking cart. So I don't really know where it's going to go. I don't have anything specific for that. A story mode? I want a story mode in this game. I've predicted it being open world in the past. Like, Horizon Motorsport or... Yeah, it's Forza Horizon, right? I've predicted it being like Forza Horizon. I think there's a good idea there for like a story mode, for something more interesting. The question is, will they do it? And I have no idea. I loved Mario Kart DS's story mode. I thought it was a lot of fun. I would love to see some more of that. Will we actually get that? Who knows? Who actually knows? And finally, battle mode. I'm not a good judge of battle mode. I don't really play much battle mode. Like, when Mario Kart 8 came out, yeah, I played a little bit. Or when 8 Deluxe, specifically. I didn't play Mario Kart 8's battle mode. Everyone said it was garbage. But when 8 Deluxe's battle mode got reworked, yeah, I played a little, but not that much. So I don't really have a strong stance either way on battle mode. So, if you care more about some of this stuff that I won't be talking about, I'm sure like Nathaniel Bandy or Scott the Waz, someone made a video that covers all this. I want to focus on some other things. Again, specifically online, but I don't want to give away my thesis yet. Even though, that's the third thing we're talking about. So let's talk characters. So, we've got so many returning characters. So many new characters. There is so much potential here for so many things. So, I thought the best idea, let's rank them. Let's do a ranking chart. So, if we come over here, we have, let me F11 that. We have Mario Kart up here on Tier List Maker. And this is a roster maker. Just standard roster maker filled with so many characters. This is so many characters. And I expect like 90%, let's say 90, let's be generous and say 90, will not make it into the new Mario Kart. But I think it'd be fun to give some predictions. Just some ideas, throw some stuff out there. We are not going to rank every one of these characters. Obviously. I'm only going to do the ones I care about, but I do care about a few. So let's go through them and let me give some rankings, some ideas. What do I want to see? What do I not want to see? So let's start off with the characters we know are in the game. Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, Yoshi, Toad, Daisy, Rosalina, Donkey Kong, Wario, Koopa, Pauline, Waluigi, Birdo, all four of the babies, Toadette, Shy Guy, King Boo, and Bowser. Just in that one trailer, 10 seconds of gameplay, these are all the characters we know for sure are in the game. So I'm already just saying, hey, these are confirmed, let's just leave it there. There are some other thoughts about, I know there are some rumors that, some of the Koopalings can be seen in the trailer. I don't really know about that one. To be honest, I don't really have a strong opinion either way. I'm going to put King Babam. I'm going to put him in A tier. I'm going to start off with him. Because there's a thing that kind of looks like he's in the trailer. But if I'm being honest, I don't care for King Babam. I know he was in Mario Golf. I don't know why people want King Babam so much. But people seemingly really... He seems to be, a popular choice. I don't care about the character at all. And I don't even care about this King Boo design either. I just realized you can't see my cursor. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. Okay, yeah, you can see it now. I think King Boo, I do not care for this King Boo design. This King Bomb, I think he's kind of generic. The other one that I kind of want to immediately throw right next to him is Charging Chuck, if I can find him. There we go, Charging Chuck. I think we've seen some, like, Thunder Bros or whatnot in the trailer. Charging Chuck was in Mario Golf or Mario Tennis or one of them. If he's there, he's there, but I'll be honest, I don't really care for the character. If he's not there, it's it doesn't matter to me, but I totally see it as a possibility. Oh, I guess I should have put, we're not talking about costumes. I'm just talking characters today. I'm not talking costumes. So I do want to keep that in mind. Kamek's an easy S tier for me. Dry Bones, easy S tier. Diddy, same thing, easy S tier. Where is Funky? Where's my boy Funky Kong? I saw him earlier. God, there are so many characters in this list. Oh, there he is. He's very early up. Funky Kong also makes S tier. He's a fan favorite. That's why I put him in S tier. He's very likable. I think he's got a very good chance. I'm putting Koopa Troopa in... Let's put PD Piranha in S. I'm putting Ween Koopa Troopa here, or Paratroopa maybe, because, you know, you already got a Koopa, I don't need another one. I'm putting Goomba in S. I'll be honest, I'm not too attached to Goomba, but he's been in two of the 3 recent Mario Kart games. I'd be fine with him being there. Lakitu, I think, actually has a decent chance. Hammer Bros is whatever. I'm going to put these... Okay, I'm going to put those 3 like that. I would love to see... especially after the Mario Bros. Movie, I think Cranky Kong makes a good fit, and I think Dixie Kong would be an even better fit. I like Dixie Kong. You know, we're playing Tropical Freeze here in a little bit. I think she's great. I think she makes a lot of sense. Actually, no, I'm going to keep her here. I think both of these make sense, but I don't know if there's a super high likelihood of them being here. Aluma, I don't really see Aluma being in here, but, you know, anything's possible. I liked when Luma followed around Rosalina in Mario Kart Wii. I thought that was so cool, and I wish they did that again. Nabbit? I'm putting Nabbit in A tier. I am amazed Nabbit wasn't in Mario Kart 8. Oh, specifically because he came back for Mario Kart Wonder. He was in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. He's kind of one of those characters, kind of like EGAD, who, like, I can very easily see the argument, but he's just kind of never been there, and it really surprises me. I don't want Peachette back, but I think it's a possibility. Toadsworth is even less likely. PD Piranha, anything's possible. Let's put K. Rool right next to the other Donkey Kong characters. Again, Smash Bros. Has done good. If they're making a new Donkey Kong game and K. Rool's in it, that's some good cross-promotion. I would love to see EGAD in a Mario Kart, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think it would make a lot of sense, though. Wiggler, I'm going to put him in S tier. I'm putting him in S tier because he's been in a previous Mario Kart game. I feel like that's kind of the distinction between S and A tier. I know Paratroopa was in a previous Mario Kart game, but I think that makes it... I don't know. Paratroopa is a weird one for me. Ninja, I kind of put right around here. I'm gonna put these guys in that tier, him up here. Actually, I think that one's higher. Again, he's in two of the most recent Mario parties. I totally think it's possible. I know Goomba's my one exception to that rule I just stated about S tier, but it's Goomba. Wart, D tier. D tier. Honestly, this feels like the most unless the only reason me wouldn't come back is if they weren't bringing back Mii's. That's it. As long as Mii's are coming back in a new Mario Kart, Mii is going to be here. Rob, I have very complicated feelings about. Because Rob he was in Mario Kart DS. He's technically third party, though. I think it's possible, though. I don't think it's as high as some of these other characters. Personally, I would love to see Rob back. I think Rob would be a fantastic pick. I think Rob's kind of cool. I wouldn't mind, but I don't know if it's all that likely, especially with some of these other third-party characters we're getting into. Boom Boom, I think both of these guys kind of go like right around here. Like, it's totally possible. Boom Boom or Pom. I swear these were in, like, Mario Kart Tour or something. They've shown up at some point, so I think anything is possible. But you don't know. Poplin, I'm putting in B tier. I think it's possible as well. But there's another character from Mario Wonder that I think is more likely. Honey Queen has been in a Mario Kart game before. But, right, I think Rob has a higher likelihood of coming back. I know also in a Mario Kart game, but no, that's not happening. Propeller Guy isn't unique enough. Spike, totally up there with Monty Mole. He's been in some of the sports games. He's been in some of the other stuff. Totally possible. Cappy, I think, has decent odds. I think Cappy, especially in this form, has a decent possibility. His sister Tiara, not so much. I know some people want the Brutals. I'll be honest, I've heard some people want the Brutals the same way people want the Koopalings. I don't want the Brutals. I think the Brutals are kind of generic, kind of boring. If we're getting a new Mario Kart, like Mario Odyssey 2 when they come back, sure, it's possible. But I don't actually think they're that interesting. And you know, while we're on controversial takes, I'm going to put the Brutals down here in B tier. Which I know seems high, but it's fucking Nintendo, man. Anything's possible. The Koopalings, I do not want the Koopalings to come back. I do not care for the Koopalings. There was a period of time, specifically when Mario Kart 8 released in like 2014, where the Koopalings felt so oversaturated. People were so sick and bored of the Koopalings. I don't see it. I just cannot see it. So, it's possible they come back. You know, they're still relevant enough. I think how I'm structuring this list so far, I think all the Koopalings go in A tier because they've been in a Mario Kart game. But I definitely feel like the Koopalings' popularity has waned a lot since then. So anything's possible, but I don't want them back. I just don't care about the Koopalings, man. What can I say? They were oversaturated. I'm kind of done with them. I'm ready to move on to bigger or better pastures. I know part of it's a whole thing of like, oh, you know, we don't like the Koopalings when they're here, but then Mario Wonder came out and had terrible boss fights. And it was like, oh, Koopalings, why didn't you show up? Why didn't you save us? The Koopalings would have sucked if they were in Mario Wonder. Let's just be honest here. Oh, shit. If the Koopalings had been in Mario Wonder, they would not have been good. We would not have cared about the Koopalings at all. It's kind of a miracle we got what we did from them. But I'm done with it. I'm ready to move on to greener pastures. Alright. Poochie, I actually think Poochie goes up here in like high A tier. You know, Yoshi had a track in the most recent Mario Kart. I think anything's possible. Who is this squirrel? Yeah, Squirrel. This is the character from Mario Wonder. I'm not gonna put him in A tier, but I'm gonna put him right there next to Cappy. I think our little caterpillar prince here, whose name I cannot remember right now, Prince Florian? I think Prince Florian has a decent chance of making it in. No. I think this is a character that's already in the game. Alright, like we've seen, like, this is the Thunder Bro that we've seen in the background. Either this one or this guy, or maybe this guy. We've seen one. I think it maybe have been this guy. Just because they're in the background doesn't mean they're actually going to be racers. I think they'd be terrible racers. The vitamins, no. The Spritzies, I give a little bit of a higher chance to. I mean, one of the Spritzies was in the last Mario Tennis. I don't think it's that likely. Ukiki is down. I'm putting Ukiki in D tier. Penguin, same thing. Dolphin, they appear as a track hazard, but they're not going to be in the game. Whatever this dinosaur, Nessie, whatever it is, I don't know. Plessy, I don't think will be a character. But you know how we have, like, the Yoshi cycle? I think it's possible we get a Plessy Kart. Let me just add one below. Let's just create a new tier. Let's just call it Kart. What color should I use? Let's use a green, sure. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Let's use a red. Kart. Plessy will be in the game as a Kart. There will be a Plessy themed Kart. I'm gonna call that one right now. It's gonna be a motorcycle like the Yoshi cycle. I totally think that's a possibility. I'm gonna skip some of these guys are just generic enemies. I don't think they're gonna be here, right? Like none of these Mario Wonder enemies. Cookatiel's not gonna be here. Whatever this thing's called, the Push Bro. Baby, the one baby we haven't seen is Baby Rosalina, and I'll be honest, I think it's very likely. I'll put the other three babies over here in yeah, right around. Okay, I'm gonna put Baby Waluigi somewhere over here in a tier below. But the other three babies actually do. Like, these three babies exist. These have been in a game. Baby Waluigi does not exist. At least I'm pretty sure Baby Wario exists. If Baby Wario doesn't exist, he's back down here. But I know Baby Donkey Kong is real. Is Baby Wario real? I think Baby Wario is real. I actually look, I'm going to Google it real quick. Is Baby Wario real? Baby Wario, Yoshi's. Yeah, Baby Wario is in Yoshi's Island, yes. So yeah, he gets to stay here, but nobody else does. Thwomp, I think I'm gonna put in like C tier. I think it's possible. Galoomba, I could see as a skin for Goomba, which maybe that should be another category. Let's make another category. Let's call this one costumes. Yeah, sure. Let's call this one costumes. I think Galoomba could totally be a costume for Goomba if Goomba's in the game. I think Sniffit could totally be a costume for Shy Guy. Butterfly Wiggler, costume for Wiggler. Right, all our Goombas, I totally think could be Goomba costumes. They all kind of seem generic enough. Bob-omb? Anything's no, it's not gonna... Not over King Bob-omb. That's the thing. Not over King Bob-omb. Gino and Mallow? No. I love the guys, but none of the Super Mario RPG characters are making it in. Hate to say it. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Maybe. The only Donkey Kong character I could see us getting is K. Rool. Wherever I put him. Yeah, K. Rool. None of these Tiki Tribe none of the Tiki Tak Tribe, none of the Frost Legion. I don't think so. I don't think Blooper. Sure, that's possible. I don't see a coin coffer making it in. I guess basically anything that doesn't make it on the list is F, lowest of the low, like it's impossible. But there are some where, anything's possible. I think that costume would be a cool costume for King Boo. I don't hate Polterpup. Polterpup and Poochie, I think, are both totally possible. I think Poochie's just got better odds. Gooigi would make a good costume. So would this Paint Mario. So would this. or Dry Bowser, I think totally goes up in S tier. Yeah, way up here in S tier. You know, he's been in previous games. It's totally possible. None of these guys. Costumes. Not her. None of these guys. Not a Twirlip. I think Jaxie would make a cool cart, like like the Teddy Buggy, but a Jaxie. I think that'd be cool. Just for the memes. Just for the memes, that would be funny. Again, costume. Some of these Lakitu types. No. I don't think they're gonna do anything from the movie. That's the thing. Like, I see all these movie characters, and I just don't think they're gonna do anything from the movie. Anything's possible, but I just don't see it. Snailicorn. Oh, I better see Stu on here. Silly Stu. No, none of these guys. I'm putting Talk 2 in meme percent. You know, he's got his own percent. Anything's possible. Bats, no. Not bumps and lumps and thwomps and womps and spindles and thindles and grolls. Chain Chomp is totally like... I could see it. I think he's more likely to be an item, but yeah, it's possible. Okay, I see some of the third-party characters. I want to look through any more first-party characters first. A lot of these don't make it in. I don't think... a lot of these RPG characters, I kind of lump together. Like, if they make it in, that'd be fine. But I don't see a lot of these RPG characters making it in. I really don't. Even though some of them I would be fine with. Where's Fawful's got to be around here somewheres. Oh, there he is. Fawful. Like, if Fawful made it on the list, I think that'd be cool, you know? I'd love to see Fawful. I'd love to see, let's go with our girl Vivian. Yeah, love her. It's very unlikely, but it's possible. I think she'd be a good fit in a Mario Kart, but I just don't see it. Again, a Wario character. Same thing with, where is, here she is. I mean, I'd be fine if Ashley made an addition, but I just don't see it. I just don't think it's that likely. Yeah, that's most of the RPG characters. That's all the Paper Mario. Did they put any Paper Marios on here? I don't really see any Paper Marios. At some point, like, with some of these characters, you become so obscure that I don't think it's gonna happen. At some point, yeah, you're such an obscure character that they're just not gonna bring them back. Like, no way are we getting some random RPG character from one of the RPG games. It's just too much. I went with this one specifically because I'd rather have more than less, if that makes any sense. I'd rather have more than what we need than less of what we need. Yeah, like who... Yeah, some of these guys don't have a chance. Oh, here's some of the Paper Marios. Okay, so that takes us to so that's all the Mario characters. So this is our list so far. I tried to stick with Mario adjacent stuff, you know, Captain Toad, Luigi's Mansion, Wario, Donkey Kong, where, you know, we're basically just one step removed, or, you know, they've been in a previous Mario Kart game. Some of the obvious ones I want to get out of the way when it comes to third-party stuff. Our boy Link here, I'm gonna put Link, Isabelle, wherever Isabelle ended up. Isabelle, in both the villagers and both the Inkling. I'm just gonna move one of the villagers, but it represents both because this list is starting to get so big. I think the Nintendo's big four is Mario, Zelda, Animal Crossing, and Splatoon. I think all four of these characters have a very high likelihood of making it back. Right below them, I'm going to use this Zelda because I don't think there's a Zelda elsewhere on this list. I think Zelda has a very good chance of making it in. If Link makes it in, Zelda's making it in. So let's just say Zelda's right there. And I'm going to do the same thing for the Octarians from Splatoon. Like, if the Inkling makes it in, I think there's a good chance the Octolings make it in as well. So let's get those guys. Pac-Man's a complicated one. Because Pac-Man has been in a previous Mario Kart game, but specifically the arcade one. But I think anything is possible. So that's all these Pac-Man right? Miss Pac-Man. I think anything's possible. I almost called him Simon Belmont. Captain Falcon here, I think would make a perfect fit. He's got 2 tracks in Mario Kart 8. He's a Mii costume in Mario Kart 8. But I don't know if he's 100% go, but I want him to be. I think he would be a perfect fit. Same thing with Samus. I know Samus isn't the biggest Nintendo character, and that in Japan they don't really care about Metroid. But Metroid, they're pushing Metroid Prime 4. Putting Samus in the game would be a big deal. Kirby, I really want Kirby. I honestly think Kirby would be a perfect fit in Mario Kart. Ever since Rosalina's reveal trailer in Smash Bros. Back in 2014, 2013, they teased Kirby in Mario Kart. And then they just put in Link in the villagers. Kirby should be in the game. Same thing with D2D, same thing with Meta. Honestly, the Return to Dreamland cast should all be here. I should actually probably put them one lower. I'm going to put them 1 tier lower. Down here in C tier. I think they should all be in here, though. I think all the Kirby cast is a great fit. Pikachu, I'm also putting around here. I think Pikachu is a great thing. Yes, Nintendo owns part of the Pokemon company. They can use Pikachu if they want. It's not... Yeah, some people make it sound like, oh, the Pokemon company is so restrictive with their IP. I know Pikachu is one of the only amiibos not to have an amiibo costume in Mario Kart 8. Because a lot of these other characters did. I still think Pikachu's got a good shot. Speaking of amiibo costumes, by the way... I saw him earlier. Sonic. I know Sonic has a new racing game coming out later this year. I know we played it. I think Sonic's got a decent chance. We don't get Mario and Sonic at the Olympic games anymore. Sonic had a Mii costume in Mario Kart 8. I think it is totally possible. I did not see Mega Man on this list. I put Mega Man in the exact same spot. I'm going to put Banjo-Kazooie a row below. Because I think if they can work out a deal with Microsoft, they will work out a deal with Microsoft. Banjo-Kazooie makes perfect sense. I also wouldn't mind seeing any other Microsoft character. If Steve shows up here and they give him a literal minecart to ride in... I think that would be fun. He's in Smash Bros. Microsoft and Nintendo have a good working relationship. I legitimately think anything is possible. I'm not rooting that one out. Should it probably be a little lower? Actually, yeah, probably. But I think anything is possible. I'm going to put the Dragon Quest slime there as well. I just think he'd be a cool character. I like the Dragon Quest slime. Yeah, that's really it. I like the Dragon Quest slime. Star Fox, Falcon Falco. I wouldn't mind. I don't see them super likely, but I think they'd make cool additions. I'd like them. Olimar, Miyamoto likes Olimar. It's possible. I also saw Ganon down here. I didn't notice this one earlier. Let's throw Ganon down here as well. Yeah, let's throw him right there. Do I actually think this game is going to have non-Nintendo characters? Or non-Mario characters? Because if you notice, right, all these high tiers are mostly Mario characters. Do I think there's going to be some non-Mario characters in here? Yes. Yes, I do. Well, I do think there is a good chance that, some of the Koopalings are going to get cut. If like Diddy Kong or Funky Kong or Lakitu or Petey don't make it into this one, I'm sadly not going to be too surprised. Because we like to think that it's like Smash Bros. Smash Bros. Builds on its character roster with every game. At least probably until the next one. Mario Kart doesn't do that. Mario Kart outside, they do the important characters, but then they kind of pull back. Actually, it's kind of weird that Birdo wasn't in 8 at launch. But, right, they do the important ones. They pull back. So I could see them getting some cuts. And if at launch the game doesn't have it's all first Mario Kart characters, no other Nintendo games, I think that is totally possible. But I think, maybe they do DLC around Nintendo characters. Maybe that's where we get Kirby, Rob, Pac-Man, Sonic. I think it's possible. Because here's the thing. While Mario Kart cannot replace Smash Bros. When it comes to what type of game it is, when it comes to character announcements and building that level of hype. Because, when a Smash Bros. Game is announced, you sit down for a Nintendo Direct. You sit down, you know what I mean that. You sit down for a Nintendo Direct, and you know exactly what to expect. When a Smash Bros. Game is that you're gonna see a trailer with a new Smash Bros. Character, and it's gonna be cool. That's what you come to expect when Smash Bros. Games have been announced. And imagine if I could see Nintendo trying to recapture that hype with Mario games. With Mario Kart specifically. That when a new Mario Kart is announced, you get excited to know, like, oh, what's the new character they're going to add this time? Is this the one where we finally get Pikachu? Are we going to get Sonic? That would be cool. I totally think anything is possible. I would love to see some third-party characters. But who knows? I keep saying third party, I mean some non-Mario characters. Again, like Egad, the Donkey Kong, the Wario, they're just kind of on the peripheral. Like, I wouldn't hate seeing them in the game. Not at all, I'd actually kind of like it. But anything is possible. Anything is possible, that's the worst part. So I think that's my list. Looking through this list, nothing else really stands out here. Like, yeah, there's a few things here and there. Like the drum here. I totally think the drum is possible. Because, again, he's been in Mario Kart. But yes, this is my list. It's a lot of characters. Again, this template has 182 images. I left probably half. I think I put 100 on here. I'm not actually going to count them. But I think anything is possible. I want Nintendo to branch out from just doing Mario characters. Because, we're when you're getting to the point where you have to do Goomba and Charge and Chuck and Pom Pom and Bam Bam, you're kind of running low on ideas here. And that's where you have all these great Nintendo characters that fill in those gaps perfectly. It's just a question of, will Nintendo do it? And I don't know. I don't know what Nintendo's gonna do. But these are kind of some of my like dream roster. If we got everything from like C tier and above, oh my god, that'd be amazing. But I'm gonna guess we're at, out of everything here, right, from S tier all the way down to C tier, we will at most get a third of this. And that's kind of saying a lot, because 8 of these spots are Koopalings, 5 of these spots are Brutals. It's not very likely, but it is possible. Alright, so let's get back to our list. Alright, so we're going to go back here real quick. So we've done characters. So now, let's talk about returning tracks. So there are a lot of tracks that have been in previous Mario Kart games, and I think some of them are... I think we're going to obviously get returning tracks, probably, unless it's like completely open world and, you know, things are different. We're going to get returning tracks. So let's move on to our next tier list. So here is every returning track. From what I can tell. So it wants us to design some cups. Like, what do we think each cup is going to have? And I'm going to try to kind of balance things out here. But I'll be honest, I make no promises. Because I don't know. I'm assuming these... Let's see. This template allows you to show off your predictions for Mario Kart Retro tracks. While being limited to tracks that have not been received a remake in mainline Mario games outside a tour and Super Circuit. And it omisses crossovers and whatnot. So, we need to start off with something simple. I think, where is it? Donut Plains 2. I think Donut Plains 2 is a super simple track to get us started. Daisy Hills, also a super simple track. Actually, no, I'm going to put Daisy Hills back. I want Maka Woohoo to be in one of these. I think Maka Woohoo, or Woohoo Island, I mean, would make a good track. And I want it to be in one of these. But I don't want to throw too many DS tracks on here. I think we're either going to get like a Daisy Hills or a Mario Circuit. I could see them leaving off with Mario Circuit. I think that's an easy one to get us started. I think Toad's Factory is an easy one to get us started. Let's see. And what would be another super simple one? Let's throw Piranha Plant Pipeline. This is the one track from Mario Kart Tour that didn't make it into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and its Booster Course Pass. I totally think it can make it in here. So I'm going to put that one in there. Here's the thing. I don't like a lot of these SNES tracks, and I kind of want to lean into them as little as possible. A Mario Kart a Wii U track that I do think is going to come back is Sunshine Airport. Sunshine Airport's a great track. I think it would be cool to see come back. I can see a Vanilla Lake. Let's go Vanilla Lake 1. I admittedly, a lot of these SNES courses I don't really have strong feelings on either way. But let's go for that. I think Mushroom City would be a good one. And then... where's the GameCube Waluigi? Or Wario, whatever. Bowser's Castle. Shy Guy Bazaar. Wario Coliseum, there we go. I'm going to throw Wario Coliseum here at the end. I think, those got some more interest. I can't remember where Sunshine Airport is. I want to say it's a third tier track right next to like Electrodrome. So that's why I'm putting it there. I think Electrodrome would also be a decent one to come back. But it's going to be one of these. Mushroom City is a beloved game. Actually, wait, we can't. Oh, shit. Which one would I rather have back, Wario Coliseum or Mushroom City? Fuck. Fuck. Let's put that back for now. I don't remember where I found it. Let's put Lakeside Park here. I'd rather. I think Mushroom City. Mushroom City is if you've ever played the Double Dash, it's an interesting track because it like goes in multiple sections, kind of like that Yoshi track that people love. It's kind of like that where it breaks off into multiple routes, And I think that's an interesting concept for a track. That again, I really do like Yoshi Wildlife Reserve, whatever the track's name is called. It's a good track, and so I think the idea of something like that coming back would be good. Here's my complication: is I think Wario Coliseum would be a good track, but I also think that of all the Rainbow Roads, of which there is Rainbow Road on GameCube, Rainbow Road on DS, and Rainbow Road on GPA. I think the most likely Rainbow Road to come back is this one. Rainbow Road on GameCube, I feel like it's the least loved Rainbow Road. Like, yeah, this one's famous for having a loop, and the loop is cool, and then Mario Kart 8 came around and kind of, the loop didn't matter anymore. And this one, the whole gimmick of Rainbow Road GBA is that all the sides are trickable. And, like, that's interesting, but I don't actually think it's that good of a track. So I want probably the GameCube, because the GameCube one gets the least amount of recognition, and that's why I think it should come back, because I think it should get another chance to earn more credit. It's just a question of will it? Where is for Bowser's Castle? I know there's a lot of Bowser's Castles here, and I could see. I'm gonna throw this one down here. Let's just do some DLC picks. I think Wario Coliseum's a good chance to come back. Where is the N64 Wario track? Wario Stadium. Let's throw that into here. I know that this one definitely needs a redesign, but I think with a redesign it could go really hard. Where is DS Bowser's Castle? SNES? Here it is. DS Bowser's Castle. This is a track I'm amazed wasn't in the Booster Course Pass for 8. Because this one's famous for having, like, the spinning barrel. When I think of Bowser's Castle, DS Bowser's Castle is the first one I think of. I think it should be the one to come back. If you're picking a Bowser's Castle, that should be the one. And let's go with GBA's Broken Pier. I'm literally just picking one. I don't like a lot of these Ghost Valley tracks, and I really don't want them back. But I think it's possible that any of them come back. Does Koopa Beach come back? I could see one of these generic Mario Kart circuits coming back. What other kart do I want? Let's put. I'm between Shy Guy Falls and Mount Wario. I think they're both good, interesting tracks that, they have fun. Electrodrome's also totally possible. So is Dragon Driftway. I think these are all 4 interesting tracks. I don't want Ice Ice Outpost. I don't care about Dolphin Shoals. I don't care about Cloud Top Cruise. Wild Woods is a little underrated, but I'm not going to root for it. Super Bowl Subway, I also kind of feel the same way about. Little underrated, but not bad. I do not care for this Rainbow Road at all. I could see. Let's put Electrodrome in here. And then let's put Shy Guy Falls in here. I like Shy Guy Falls. Electrodrome's also a cool track. Let's throw a Ghost Valley in here. And then I know one of the Bowser's Castles is known for being like there's like I want to say it's Bowser's Castle 2 on SNES. It has like this, famously it has like a dead end. Terrible level design. But I feel like that has potential to like use that dead end, do something interesting with it, make a split in the path. I could see that one being really good. Let's throw Yoshi's Desert in there. And then what do we have? We have a 3DS, an SNES, a Wii, a Tour, SNES, Wii, GBA, Wii U, Are we missing a Wii? We need another Wii course. What are our Wii course options? Bowser's Castle, Dry Ruins, Luigi Circuit, Mario Circuit. Wow, these are actually... Like, yes, this Bowser's Castle has a level of iconicness for me. I'd honestly probably take this one over. I'd take that one over that. And then I guess... GBA courses. I guess let's throw in just Cheap Land. These are... There's so many courses that... A lot of these Wii U courses I don't expect to come back. If they honestly do this with 0 Wii U courses, I will in no way be surprised. Like, if they don't bring back Electrodrome, but instead bring back... Oh, wait, did we already... We have 2 SNES courses on here. Let's just throw in DS Rainbow Road. Right, if they don't bring back any Wii U courses, I will in no way be surprised. There's a part of me that wants to say that that's the right call. But I don't hate... See, here's the thing. The courses I want to come back are on here. I want Toad's Factory to come back. I want Mushroom City. I want Wahoo Loop. I want Wario Stadium to come back. And there's even some courses on here that I wouldn't mind. Is it Toad's Turnpike? Is that the one where you can climb up the bridge? I think it was a GameCube course that was later remade on the DS. And on the DS version, you can't, like, ride up on top of the bridge. That would be a course I would be fine with coming back, as long as you can ride up the bridge again. Because I have fond memories of that one. Yeah, they're going to throw some curveball in like that. But I think these are the returning tracks. My problem is the SNES and the GBA courses. There's a lot of these courses that I'm just not a big fan of. So if they don't come back, I'm not going to be too brokenhearted on it. Especially because some of these courses feel so similar. And then there's some courses I just don't remember. I don't remember 3DS Bowser's Castle. I don't remember... Yoshi's Desert. I don't remember Koopa Beach. I remember I think it was the Wii remake of Koopa Beach. I kind of remember. Which is the Mario circuit that you go into the castle? Is that DS's Mario Kart circuit? Is that this one? Figure 8? No, that's not Figure 8 circuit. I know there's one Mario Kart circuit where you go into the castle itself. It might have been one of the ones we threw on. It might be this one, the 3DS Mario Circuit, which I don't think that's a course that I do remember liking, even though it's, a simple Mario Circuit. So I wouldn't mind that at all. So that's just my slapped together list. I honestly, if it wasn't obvious, I kind of just made it all up at the spot. I don't hate it. I do not hate this list, but I definitely feel like we could have done better. But I need to replace some of those a lot of the SNES and GameCube course or Game Boy courses just kind of blend together for me. So that's returning tracks. So let's come back here. So now let's continue on. I said we'd get to the controversial part of the show. So let's get to the controversial part of the show. The Splatoonification of Mario Kart. So, Mario Kart, well, yes, it is, a racing game where you play with your friends, you can play online, you can have a good time in Mario Kart with anybody. But in the modern era of gaming, a lot of things have changed. The way people look at online games, the way people play online games is very different nowadays. And I feel like if Nintendo is going to try to adapt that into Mario Kart, I could see them taking some implementing some ideas from Splatoon and working those into Mario Kart. And these are not going to be popular opinions, by the way. Some people are really going to hate this. But I think it is totally possible. I think we can totally see the Splatoonification of Mario Kart. Splatoon is obviously not the only game that does this. Even Nintendo themselves have experimented with these ideas in other games, you know, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, ARMS. They've messed around with ideas like these. But I'm using Splatoon because I think Splatoon, over its 3 games, has had some time to get this right. So what am I talking about? Well, you know how when you play an online game in Mario Kart 8, after each race, depending on how well you did, you get points, right? As you can see in this example image here, the person in first place got 27 points, whereas the person in last place got -5. How were these scores determined? I have no idea. Currently, in Mario Kart, these scores mean nothing. Like, yeah, sure, you can go online, you can see whatever your global power ranking is. These don't mean anything. These are just personal scores that people keep track of. So, I think it's totally possible that Mario Kart's going to instead... these scores are probably still going to exist, but they're going to exist differently. Because I think Nintendo's going to implement a feature that is a battle pass. Or, in Splatoon case, a catalog. I think it is totally possible that in the next Mario Kart, when you play an online game, you're going to get experience, points, levels, global power ranking that contribute towards a catalog. And as you level up your catalog, you unlock new items, new characters. Maybe not new... I want them to have all of the characters, all the carts, all that jazz there at launch. I don't want them to have anything that, hey, you can't already get in the game, not in the game at launch. I want them to start you off with every cart part. Maybe not every cart part, but I want those to be easy to unlock. I don't want because I'll be honest, I hate the coin system in Mario Kart 8 as it currently exists. You have to get 3,100 coins? I think it's 3,100 to unlock every cart part. You get every character at the start, but it takes forever to get every cart part. So I could totally see Nintendo just being like, nope, instead of doing coins and whatnot, we're going to put it all behind a battle pass. And maybe there's 2 battle passes. There's a general battle pass that you just get for playing the game, and if you complete the general battle pass, you unlock every character, every cart part, and a variety of stickers and Mii costumes. And then they do seasonal battle passes, where as you play through the seasonal battle pass, you unlock seasonal items. Like here, we have Reindeer Yoshi hat, which is a costume you get for a character. Maybe you get a Santa Mario sticker. We'll talk more about stickers in a minute. Maybe you get a Mii Fighter costume. Or, a Mii costume. I think all of this stuff is totally possible. And then, you have the Rosalina here, maybe when you get high enough in the seasonal battle pass, it unlocks special costumes for characters. Mii costumes are just kind of generic little things. But character costumes, those are a big deal. And I could see Nintendo putting that behind a battle pass. Now, this is Nintendo, so you will most likely not have to pay extra money for that battle pass. In Splatoon 3, they gave 2 years of battle passes. I think they did 8 of them over the course of 2 years. You did not have to pay any extra money. This is not going to work like a Fortnite battle pass where you have to shell out, 10 to 15 bucks every few weeks, every few months to get the new battle pass. No, this is just going to be a thing that's in the game that rolls over every season. I totally see that within the realm of possibility. That, there's, a normal battle pass, which is, 30 levels. And then they do a seasonal battle pass, which is, 50 levels. and you get costumes, you get customizations. Maybe they do put some like special parts in there that, you know, they function the same as normal parts, but they look cosmetically different. Again, stickers, trophies, other items for you to display. I am 99% certain this is going to happen. I've seen nobody else suggest this, mind you. And I could totally see this getting me crucified. I know some people here, Mario Kart has a battle pass, and that scares the shit out of them. But I think it is totally possible that we get a battle pass. I'm pretty certain this is going to happen. Just because this is how online games are trending. Every online game works like this, including other online games made by Nintendo. So I'm calling it right now. This is the future of Mario Kart Online. Another idea? In Splatoon, we have lockers. You can go in, you can see your locker, and you know, you get all these customization options. You can put stickers, you can put your gear, you know, you can buy clothing. Basically anything you want in your locker, you can put in your locker. It doesn't really do anything. It's purely aesthetic. It's purely for the player to show off. But it's a pretty fun idea. I like using the locker. You know, just to kind of see what other people have. People make jokes out of it. So what if in the new Mario Kart, you get to build your own garage? What if every player has their own like custom garage where you can come in, you can build it, and you know, if you play through the story mode, you unlock different trophies, and there's like a place where you can display your trophies in your garage. Maybe you unlock stickers, and you can like put stickers up. You unlock new kart parts. Maybe other people can come visit your garage, and like your character will be hanging out in the garage. Maybe, right, you'll have custom karts that are there. Maybe you can set up like some preset karts where it's like quick, easy, especially if kart customization is back. Presets would actually be a nice option. And having like your presets just there in your garage as like, you know, sort of like a menu system, menu with extra steps, basically. I could totally see Nintendo implementing something like this. I know there's people for Splatoon 4 want you to have your own apartment, basically going from the locker to the next evolution, which is you owning an apartment. And I think that's a great idea. And I think here in Mario Kart, being able to build your own garage also has a lot of potential. Customize it how you like, change the color schemes, change the patterns. I think there's a lot of possibility for creativity here. Another idea I had is when you play an online game, as the match is loading, it pops up every player's name. It tells you the country they're from and their point totals. This is just a generic menu. You don't really do much with this. But there is an idea I had. What if you can create your own license plate? Splatoon has a thing called splash tags, where you can create your own custom splash tag. It's got the player's name, it's got a title, and like a character code. I'm not exactly sure what the code is. Admittedly, I could look it up, but I haven't. What if in the new Mario Kart, instead of creating a splash... Admittedly, these look more like the splash tags, the examples I'm going to show today. But what if instead of splash tags, you have a license plate? You're able to create your own custom license plate. There, you know, as you go through the catalog, you unlock new ones. You unlock little, like, the nicknames, just like in Splatoon. Because I know Splatoon is not the only Nintendo game to use this nickname system. Admittedly, I cannot remember what the other one is. It might have been Mario Maker 2. It might have been, like, Mario Tennis or Mario Golf. Oh, Animal Crossing. It's Animal Crossing, duh. Admittedly, Animal Crossing and Splatoon are made by the same developers, so that's why. But yeah, what if you can create your own license plate? Maybe it displays on the back of the car. So when you're in a match, you know, at the very back of the car, you can see your little license plate. It shows up in the loading menu. I think that would be a fun idea. You know, you can have a lot of creative little, creative color palettes, And there's some generic ones the game starts off with, but as you play more of the game, you can get them in the season pass, you can get them for playing different modes, doing different things. I think the idea of a license plate has a lot of potential. Maybe a display, you know how Mario Kart DS, you can create your own custom emblem on the front of the car? This is kind of a weaker version of that, because it's a little bit more restrictive, but I feel like there's a lot of potential here. So those are 3 elements from Splatoon that I think are going to make it into Mario Kart. I don't want to say it's inevitable. It isn't. But with the way online games work nowadays, and the way Nintendo... Admittedly, I know Splatoon and Animal Crossing aren't perfect examples, because they're both made by the same developer, EDP... I'd have to look it up, actually. Which EDP makes Crossing? EDP. Come on, just tell me which one. EDP. It just says Nintendo EDP. It doesn't tell me which one is which. Okay, so... EDP 5, or Production Group Number 5. That makes Splatoon, they make Animal Crossing. But I could Nintendo shares stuff through its, different studios and whatnot all the time. I could totally see these features making it into Mario Kart. Because these 3 things are way more interesting than this. They're more creative. They're more interesting. They're more fun. And that's what Nintendo cares about. That's what I think about all this stuff. Everything we've talked about right now with the Splatoonification of Mario Kart. Okay, besides for maybe a Battle Pass, because admittedly Battle Passes can be very grindy. The rest of this stuff just sounds fun. Like, is it my number 1 priority in Mario Kart? Probably not, but it'd be fun. So I could totally see it happening. That's the Splatoonification of Mario Kart. So, next up, let's talk about options. I want to go through this one real quick. So, in an update to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, they had the idea of, hey, let's go in and let's allow the players to customize which items can be used. So you can see here, right, they turned off some, they've turned on others. I think this was a fantastic feature. But in my opinion, it didn't go far enough. I think Nintendo in Mario Kart needs more customization. There's some obvious ones, right? I think customizing the music would be a great idea. I would love to see, just at the beginning of each track, they have a giant music library. You can pick whichever track you like. That'd be a lot of fun. I like the idea of making playlists. Because in Mario Kart, you can either do Grand Prix or you can do Versus. And, on both of them, you can play whichever tracks you like. But I like the idea of you being able to make your own custom playlist that will play the tracks in a specific order. So, like, let's say I want to make a track that's like, it's Wario's Gold Mine, or not, Mount Wario. It's Mount Wario. It's Big Blue. It's N64 Rainbow Road. All the tracks that are one giant lap, and just that's the custom playlist. Hey, here's a custom playlist that is every returning track from Mario Kart DS. I feel like that would have a lot of potential. Allow us to put 100 tracks in the track order. Maybe allow us to repeat tracks. So if someone wants to do, and maybe you can shuffle them. I could see someone doing Russian roulette, where it's 99 Mario circuits, 1 Rainbow Road. I could totally see something like that. And I think that would be a lot of fun. So I want that customization. But I also want the customization to determine track lengths. So far, in Mario Kart 8, it's whatever the game tells you. Some tracks like Mount Wario, right, you start at the top of the mountain, you end at the bottom of the mountain. That's why the track ends. But in some cars, like N64 Rainbow Road, it's a 3-lap track, but you end off where you started. You could do another 3 laps easily. And that's why I think it'd be cool if you could customize how many laps you do. Baby Park, 100 laps, blue shells only? That sounds like a nightmare. But I think that'd be a lot of fun. Giving the custom... And, you know, for tracks like Mount Wario, maybe you just start... Maybe once you cross the finish line, if you set it to 6 laps, maybe it just restarts you at the top. Of course, there'd have to be some sort of limit. I'd assume the limit would be like 48 is the max number of laps you can do. I could even see them limiting it at like 16. But I would love for you to have custom laps. How many do you want to do? I think that just, again, there's a rule that I've learned from Mark Brown, which is the idea that developers have the right to make a game however they want, but players have the right to play the game however they choose. And stuff like options, like item customization here, is the perfect balance between those two philosophies. So being able to customize which tracks you're playing, how many laps of each track you're doing, which items you're using, which music you get to listen to, that is the distillation of these concepts. And that's why I want them to expand the options. I think there is so much potential here. They just have to do it. So yeah, that's my Mario Kart predictions. That's the end. That's all I got. All of this could be completely wrong, mind you. If this new Mario Kart game does take more influence from Forza Horizon, everything I just mentioned could be completely wrong. The game may take some influence from like Diddy Kong Racing or Crash Team Racing and have a hub world. They might, again, there's a potential Wonder Seed gimmick. They could totally, somehow simultaneously, both Mario Kart and Sonic Racing could have had the same idea of switching between tracks mid-lap. Literally anything is possible. But I like some of the ideas I have here. Admittedly, again, I think the Battle Pass thing is going to be controversial for some people. But I see, as long as they don't make it too grindy, because it gets people into replayability. I hope the game does DLC again. Mario, I don't think this is a controversial take. Mario Kart 8's DLC is some of the best DLC of all time. Basically doubling the amount of tracks in the game for $30 is unheard of. That is such a wild amount of DLC. And I really, even if Mario Kart 8, I feel like they've got to, at minimum, right, usually it's 4 new cups, 4 retro cups. I feel like at a minimum, like that's the minimum they could do, but I'd actually be kind of disappointed if they didn't do 6 and 6. I feel like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe kind of set the new standard of 6 new cups, 6 retro cups, because of the DLCs. And then if they want to do paid DLC after that, I'd be all for it. If this game has 2 years of free updates with season passes, with new customization, new characters being added, and a paid DLC that doubles the amount of courses, that sounds amazing. I know there's part of it that's like, oh, you're just recreating Mario Kart 8 again. And in some ways I kind of am. But Mario Kart 8's one of the best games of all time. Mario Kart 8 is maybe the best racing game of all time. And if they just kind of want to do that again, but with a fresh coat of paint, a new gimmick, 24 racers, that sounds great to me, actually. I would have a lot of fun regardless. So yeah, that's my So we just created a Mario Kart game. I think that was I had some fun doing that. I definitely could have been stronger on the track list there. But yeah, I had a decent enough time. So, I'm going to switch over to games. We're going to boot up Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. But I gotta go get everything turned on, and I'm gonna go get a drink of water, because I am thirsty. So I'll be right back. All right, are we back? All right. Oh, yeah, let's put it right there. So here we are, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. We beat Donkey Kong Country Returns last week. I had a good enough time. Admittedly, last week's ending was very abrupt, because I'll be honest, I thought we were just going to beat the game, and I was like, oh, that's where the stream ended. That was my plan the entire time, so when I still had stuff to talk about, I just kind of panicked. And I only plan to go for like an hour and a half tonight. My goal is to only beat the first 2 worlds. That's my goal, so we're going to try to do all that. I've got 2 new stories to talk about, and I've got a few WIBE things, so let's just jump right into it. So firstly, Taco Bell. Normally we talk about Taco Bell in the food section. A second. Let's try it, sure. I don't plan on using Funky Kong, but let's try it. I don't mind, you know, we play on whatever difficulty you like. So, Taco Bell, for last year and now this year, they have what they call Live Moss Live. This is basically Taco Bell's show, where they come out and they're like, hey, here's what to expect in the next year of Taco Bell. The only thing I can compare it to is like an EA Presents. It is maybe literally a Ubisoft show. Like, if I had to compare this to any E3 event, it's a Ubisoft show. That does mean it was super awkward. There were gaffes, there were cringe moments. Oh my god, this is a Ubisoft show through and through. And you know, it literally even did the direct thing of, hey, here's one more thing. But they had a lot of announcements. And I kind of, you know, some of the, like, they gave out, like, the Taco Bell Award. They did a few other things. I'm not going to talk about those. I just care about the announcements. They did a lot of cringe shit. It's cringe. It's a show. Hey, Taco Bell, I get it. You wanted to honor the fans. You wanted people there in person, especially because they get to, like, try out the new stuff. Because I know people got to try out, like, the new queso taco. People got to try out the new flavor of Baja Blast. I get it, but the shows are just so cringe. Oh my god, it's almost unbearable levels of cringe. This is one of those shows, you know how, like, with Summer Games Fest, we watched it at, like, double speed, and I had a much better time with it? If you're gonna watch this Taco Bell show, watch it at double speed. Oh my god, there's some... And slow down for the test kitchen stuff and the ending stuff. But other than that, there's so much shit here. So let's talk about the test kitchen stuff. So Taco Bell, most fast food places have a test kitchen, where they get to test out new ideas, experiment with new things, and they give some interesting ideas, some interesting insight. You know, famously, the person I always think of is Chef Mike Harkars? Former head chef of McDonald's, you know, the guy responsible for bringing back Szechuan sauce. And yeah, he worked in a test kitchen, and he experimented with all sorts of things. And not everything you experiment with comes to market. So even though Taco Bell threw out a bunch of ideas here, I want to be clear, not everything they talked about is coming to market. Some of it is. I would say at most a third of this stuff is going to come to market. They're going to test out stuff. Some of the stuff won't come to market simply because they can't get enough product. Like, again, Chef Mike once explained that they were trying to do, like, a blueberry parfait, but if they were to buy enough blueberries, they would have to buy every blueberry in North America. And that's just not possible. So that's why they didn't do a blueberry parfait. So just kind of, you know, when you hear all these ideas, because they threw out a lot of ideas, be aware that not everything is going to happen. Because, you know, not everything is possible. I put it as a third. A third of the things that I'm about to mention are going to happen. There are a few other more concrete things, but we'll talk about that in a minute. They started off by mentioning the Baja Blast Pie, and I think that's a great example of how this stuff works, because last year Taco Bell is like, hey, we're working on about Baja Blast Pie. It was a test kitchen thing. They didn't actually have like strict plans to release it. So it didn't release last year. People complained. And so they're planning on releasing the Baja Blast Pie in Thanksgiving, which, you know, that'd be cool. I think the idea, again, they did gelato. The gelato wasn't bad. I feel like a pie's not a bad idea. But clearly they've learned their lesson, right? They care more about feedback. I kind of wish that after this event, they had done like a feedback form that was like, hey, log into the Taco Bell app and pick your 3 favorite items that we talked about during today's show. And that kind of makes those items more likely to happen. You know, just take some bad feedback. Doesn't guarantee anything, obviously, but it shifts things in the right direction. So what did they talk about? Oh my god, so many things. Bite-sized taco salad. You know how Little Caesars has been doing Crazy Puffs? Taco Bell Crazy Puffs that are taco salad. Okay. People like the salted caramel apple empanada, so they're gonna bring that back. And what if they added a new flavor, which is salted caramel toffee cream? And what if they do those in bite-sized forms, so they're smaller? Okay. A Mexican pizza empanada. People like the Mexican pizza, so what if they do a Mexican pizza empanada? What if they give it its own special dipping sauce? I'm not a big fan of the Mexican pizza, so I don't really care about that one. One I do think is a good idea is they talked about doing a fire sauce seasoning. That, you know how like you can get like seasoning packets? Like you can go to a store and get like a Taco Bell seasoning packet. That maybe they do a fire sauce seasoning and they put them on like nacho fries or the chicken nuggets. And they have like, you know, that's basically their equivalent of like spicy. Instead of having like spicy nuggets, they have, you know, nuggets that are coated in this fire seasoning. And I actually think that's a great idea. The idea of spicy nacho fries, I think sounds fantastic. So I'm all aboard for that. But I'm biased because I like nacho fries. They talked about they're getting some new hot sauces. There's like weak knees sriracha and Zav, right, which is a hot sauce. And then there's Zav, which does like they're gonna do like a spicy ranch. So we got those. And then they were talking about how they're gonna do a purple chili sauce, which is this. It's literally a purple sauce. And it's supposed to be the spiciest sauce they have ever created. And supposedly people have tried this already. Because when they did the live event, they also had like a testing area. For people who attended the live event, they had like a test area. And so some people have tried some of these things. And I know this purple spicy sauce was one of them. And supposedly it is very spicy. So yeah. For people who like that, that's you know, down for them. Something they are currently testing, like in Cincinnati, is a Southwest hot chicken crunch wrap. I'll be honest, Taco Bell, I don't really care for their chicken that much. I'm not a big, when it comes to Taco Bell, I don't really care for their chicken. I thought their chicken nuggets were fine. But outside of that, I don't really care for Taco Bell chicken. So a Southwest hot chicken crunch wrap, it doesn't really do much for me, but I know people have already tried this one. I've heard it's actually pretty decent. This, you know, when I talk about 33% of these are actually going to happen, this is one I think that totally falls into that. They said they're going to focus on, in the test kitchen, carne asada. They want to start doing more carne asada stuff. They didn't actually announce anything carne asada focused, but, you know, they're going to start implementing that. They talked about crispy fajita fries. So, you know, if you get fajitas, they come with like bell peppers, onions, jalapenos. They're basically in a beer batter those, or tempura batter is probably the proper word. And they're going to sell those. So it's going to be, you know, like little fries that are bell peppers, onions, jalapenos. You can already kind of buy these, like onion strings. Like, I'm pretty sure I've been to like a not a Whole Food store, but I've been to places that basically already sell this, but Taco Bell's looking to do it. Presumably they'll put it into stuff, like you'll be able to get like a fajita with this kind of stuff in it. And that doesn't sound terrible. I feel like that could actually really work. It's also, of course, you'll also be able to buy them on their own, and it's going to be paired with a Peruvian habanero white ranch. Yeah. A tequila cantina taco. So this is it's a tequila, you know, like when you get a tequila, the glass is like salted. They're salting the edges of the taco. Basically, the tortilla has been rolled in salt. And yeah, that sounds, presumably it's a chicken taco. That sounds interesting. I feel like that would be very fucking salty, because Taco Bell's already kind of high in salt. So that would be very salty, but it's an interesting idea. It's a very Taco Bell idea for sure. They talk about rolled chicken taquitos, which they're going to do normal ones. It's going to come with a queso fundido, and then they're going to have a flaming hot version potentially as well. So so there's going to be a normal version and a flaming hot. You know, for people who are into that, that's good for them. Short rib. They're going to do a short rib chili relleno burrito. I don't know if people got to try this one. If you don't know what chili relleno is, basically, right, they take a chili, they gut it out, you put stuff inside of it, and then, at least the ones I have are usually like battered and fried. But they're going to fold it into a burrito. It's not a terrible idea at all. A brisket taco. You know, they talked about some brisket stuff. That doesn't sound terrible. I don't know how well Taco Bell could do brisket. But, you know, brisket taco, I get it. Poutine nacho fries. I think poutine nacho fries is a fantastic idea. Like, I'm honestly kind of surprised they don't already have that in Canada when they do the nacho fries. But I think poutine nacho... Because I know I've said it before. I like Taco Bell's nacho fries. They're not anything amazing. They're not the best fries I've ever had. But they're far from the worst. God, I've had Burger King fries, even just this week. No, Taco Bell nacho fries are pretty decent. The seasoning they put on them is fine. And yeah, doing that with poutine, it also would have roasted pork on it. I actually think this is a great idea. I don't even need the pork, honestly. Because this is a debate I've gotten into. I like poutine, by the way. Poutine is really good. Support your local Canadians, especially if you're in Canada, because, like, fuck the US right now when it comes to Canada. And a bunch of other shit, but especially that. But I think poutine, in my humblest of opinions, poutine can work as a standalone dish. Because I know fries usually play a supportive role, but I think poutine, with, you know, adding gravy and cheese curds, is strong enough to serve as its own dish. You can put meat in it, obviously, but I don't think it's 100% required. It's kind of the same way I feel about, like, nachos, right? Like, if you get, like, chips and cheese or chips and guac, that's kind of whatever. You know, they're a side. But if you put, you know, beans, meat, guac, sour cream, other stuff on tortilla chips, then it becomes a full meal. That's kind of, I feel like poutine, even though it's only adding like 2 or 3 things, I feel like those 2 or 3 things do enough heavy lifting. Plus, potatoes are already so nutrient added as it is. I stand by poutine's its own meal. Chipotle stuff. They're doing like these. What were they called? Like Live Moss bowls. Taco Bell already kind of does bowls, but they're, you know, gonna lean into it a little bit more. Basically reinvent them. They honestly kind of reminded of like Chipotle bowls. Like, imagine if Taco Bell did Chipotle bowls. At least that's the feeling I got. Pumpkin spice empanada. Again, something I could totally see them doing around the holiday season. All of that tells me that the pumpkin spice did very well. Or the salted caramel empanada did very well. Even though it was only on the menu for like a week or 2. They added that to the menu and took it away so quick. But clearly it did well enough that they're going to keep, right? That they're bringing them back. Because they threw it out like 3 times during this showcase. They talked about the Taco Dia? Why does that sounds like a Papa Luis thing. The Taco Dia. So they talked about the Taco Dia, which is an oversized taco quesadilla. It's got carne asada in it. This is one of the ones that people have already tried, and it's supposedly really good. Supposedly, right, from the people who got to test it out at the event, I've heard it's like one of the best items they've come up with in recent years. So, you know, hopefully that becomes a thing. And finally, they're doing an ube cookie, which is basically like, it's like an ube ice cream sandwich with strawberry. And I like because a big theme of this event was purple, right? They've got a purple sauce, they've got a purple Mountain Dew, which we'll get to, and then they've got this purple ube strawberry cookie. They're clearly leaning heavily into the purple, and I to be honest, I don't think you need the strawberry. I think ube stands enough on its own that you don't need strawberry here. But I don't hate I don't hate it. And this is also one that people got to try out that I know they did, and people seem to like it. So that was all of the big that was their test kitchen stuff. So that's the stuff they're working on. What about the stuff that is being confirmed to come to the menu this year? Stuff that they're like, yes, you know, we've tested it. We know at some point this year this will be on the menu. They've got a few things as well. So the first one is just, I think the day the showcase happened, maybe the day before the showcase, they already have their Caliente Cantina chicken menu, or they already have their Cantina chicken menu. They're now doing a spicy version of it called the Caliente Cantina chicken menu. So if you like their canteen chicken, but you wanted it spicier, boom, there you go. You can now go get that. Like I said, I don't really care for chicken at Taco Bell. They're doing... Do you remember when McDonald's did their whole design a burger thing, where they created a website where you could design your own burger? And because of that, you know, if you hear design your own burger website on the internet, you know exactly where that's going. To quote an internet historian thing, we all knew how this was going to turn out. And that's where you get stuff like Girth and Ron's Creamy Surprise and the toddler body bag. It's a classic bit. You can look it up online. Internet historian who we do or don't like, I'm not exactly sure anymore. I want to say it's don't. He did a video talking about the McDonald's design your own burger. Taco Bell's going to do the same thing. They're calling it fan style. And basically, you're going to be able to take existing Taco Bell menu items, make changes to them, and then put it on their like fan style app where other people can order it. And if other people order your menu item, your custom menu items, you'll get a reward, right? You'll get like reward points or something like that. I don't think it's a terrible idea, but this is where we're going to get Ron's Creamy Surprise too. That's exactly what's going to happen. Someone's going to find a way to make it work. This is going to blow up in their faces, but hopefully we get some funny results out of it. They're doing a shredded beef grilled cheese burrito. I like the grilled cheese burrito. I honestly, when the grilled cheese burrito came out, I thought it was the best menu item Taco Bell had had in years, and I had so many of them that I kind of never want to have one again. But you know, they're doing a shredded beef one. That sounds good. They're bringing chicken nuggets back. They did a whole segment about like all their failures of chicken, and yeah, I've had some of those. But their chicken nuggets were so successful that they're going to be bringing them back. And they're going to have new sauces. Because when I got to try the chicken nuggets, I only got to try 2 of the sauces. I tried the jalapeno mustard, and I tried the Bell sauce. I never got to try the Fire Ranch. So that sucked. but they've teamed up with Mike's Hot Honey, and they're going to be doing a Diablo honey sauce. I think that sounds fantastic. Because I recently had Mike's Hot Honey at KFC, and let's say I was kind of underwhelmed, because it was not spicy at all. It's hot honey. It's supposed to at least have some spice, or some kick, or something, and it had nothing. So the idea of a Diablo version, I think, is fantastic. Along with, bringing back the chicken nuggets, they're going to do chicken tenders, because, McDonald's bringing back their snack wraps this year, so they're going to compete with that. They're doing chicken tenders, they're going to do a chicken tender taco, a chicken tender burrito. I'm sure people are going to be happy about that, if they're good. Which, again, I thought the chicken nuggets were fine, especially for Taco Bell of all places. They talked about Live Moss Cafe. If you don't know, every restaurant right now is getting into the business of starting second restaurants that are basically just rip-off versions of other restaurants. So, you like McDonald's, but what if you like McDonald's in coffee? What if, you like McDonald's and you like Starbucks? What if those two restaurants existed together? AKA McCosmic, or Cosmics? I think it's called Cosmics. Hey, do you like KFC, but you also like Raising Cane's? What if we made KFC more like a Raising Cane's? They did that. Taco Bell. Hey, do you like Taco Bell, but do you also like Starbucks or Dutch Bros or any one of those places? Well, we have the Live Moss Cafe, which is both those ideas combined. I don't know, every restaurant at least those three have done it in just the past, year. Because I think McDonald's is the one I know started it with their Cosmics, and then KFC did one, then Taco Bell did one. I'm sure other places have done them. But they're basically, hey, Live Moss Cafe has been a success so far. They're going to build another one in New York, maybe. I don't know. I do want to try Cosmics one of these days, but there's not one. There's not, the closest one is what, in, Dallas? And I hear those are only doing okay. They talked about the Beefy Crunch Burrito. If you don't know, the Beefy Crunch Burrito is this classic Taco Bell item. It's a fan favorite, but it hasn't been around in a while. And so people have, it's the one that has the Fritos, the Flamin' Hot Fritos. People have been wanting it back. There's been it's kind of for me, was the volcano sauce. I loved the volcano burrito. I wanted it to come back. It came back, and I loved it. But for a lot of people, the Beefy Crunch Burrito is their volcano sauce, their snack wrap, and they are bringing it back this year. And on top of it having the Flamin' Hot Fritos, they're going to be using Flaming Hot seasoning in the rice to, make it even more, flamin' hot. Which, again, it's a little bit of a departure, but I think people will be excited for it. And it's going to be under $3. Because one of my problems with Taco Bell is I hate how much they throw the 5-layer burrito and everything. I do not like the 5-layer burrito. I am so fucking sick of the 5-layer burrito. Please let this kind of replace that. I'm so sick of the 5-layer burrito. Please, just anything. Speaking of that, they're bringing back... So last year they did the Decades menu, where they brought back one menu item from each decade. They're doing it again, but they're specifically focusing on the 2000s. So they're bringing back menu items from the 2000s, one of them being the 7-layer burrito. I do not give a shit about the 7-layer burrito. But they're going to be bringing back the chili cheese burrito. The caramel apple empanada did well enough that they're going to be bringing it back. Hopefully it's there for longer than 2 weeks. They're doing the double-decker taco again. And then they're bringing back the Cool Ranch Doritos Locos Taco. Because a while ago, they got rid of the Cool Ranch. People were disappointed. Hey, it's coming back. I didn't really care. I always liked the nacho one better. Even though I don't really get them. They're doing a rolled poblano quesadilla. Isn't a rolled quesadilla just like one step away from a burrito? I don't really get this one, but it comes with a green poblano sauce. That's supposedly going to be really good. I know this is one of the ones people have tried and people liked. They announced they're doing more collaborations with Milk Bar. If you don't know, Taco Bell, just last week, they were doing churros. And I think the promotion's over now. But they were doing churros to celebrate their anniversary or their birthday or whatever. And they were decent churros. My problem was the flavoring. I didn't care for the birthday cake flavor. So the idea of them doing more collaborations with Milk Bar, presumably more churros, I think is actually a good idea. Just give us a better flavoring. You know, people seem to like the caramel apple empanada. Maybe do a caramel apple churro. I've never had that before. Maybe, you know, do your Cinnabon Delight. Maybe do like a Cinnabon Delight churro. Okay, I don't know about that one. I think chocolate would go really good with that churro. But I'm not. Again, I like the churro well enough. And if they do something completely different, I'm okay with that as well. And then the last thing was Baja Blast Midnight. So Baja Blast is celebrating its 21st anniversary. And you know, nowadays you can get Baja Blast in stores. Taco Bell had like an exclusivity contract, and I think that ran out last year. And you know, it technically ran out longer than that, but they bring it back like basically every summer. Now, as far as I know, Baja Blast is like a permanent item, but they're going to be launching a new Baja Blast. It's called Midnight, and this will be restaurant exclusive. If it's good, then it'll, you know, who knows how long that'll last. But they're gonna be doing it. It's passion fruit flavored. Admittedly, I don't know how good that's gonna be. I mean, it'll hopefully be better than the peach one that KFC has. Because if you don't know, yeah, KFC has its own exclusive Mountain Dew that's like peach flavored, and I do not care for that one. It's not the worst one I've ever had, but it's not the best. But yeah, supposedly people have tried this. It's fine. I've heard some decent things. And then, you know, you can't do a Nintendo-style Direct without ending off with one more thing. Even though Microsoft hasn't learned this, even though Sony hasn't learned this lesson, somehow fucking Taco Bell learned this lesson. So their one more thing was the Queso Crispy Taco. So in the past, right, Taco Bell has experimented with like, hey, what if we made a waffle the taco? What if we made the chicken the taco? This is, hey, what if we made the cheese the taco? Now, this is something I have seen before. I have seen people make, like, hey, what if cheese was the taco? The one thing I will say is, if I remember correctly from people doing it, those always come out very greasy. Like, cheese has a lot of grease in it. So that is one thing to be concerned about. But supposedly people have tried it. It is decent. But yeah, that was their like big one more thing. And yeah, I don't think that's a terrible one more thing to end on. And yeah, that was the Taco Bell event. Was it good? No. No, it wasn't. But I think there's a lot of interesting announcements. Some of them I don't care about. And the ones I do probably will never see the light of day, which sucks. Like, I really hope that fiery nacho fries becomes a thing. I think fiery nacho fries is a fantastic idea. If I could vote on my top 3, fiery nacho fries would be one of them. Fiery nacho fries would be one of them. Probably poutine would be my number 2. And then I'd probably say that strawberry cookie. I like that idea. I like the idea of an ube strawberry cookie. That doesn't sound terrible. Yeah, let's go with that. I'm curious, even though I'm not a spice guy, I think that purple sauce also sounds interesting. So that's the Taco Bell showcase. You know, it's actually more than what I was expecting. When they started announcing everything in the test kitchen, I was actually really surprised by how much they had to show. But yeah, it was a fine little event. Alright, let's continue on. Let's talk Tony Hawk. So, we finally officially got the reveal of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. It comes out July 11th, so just a few months away. It is being made by Iron Galaxy, so originally the Tony Hawk Pro Skaters 1 and 2 was made by Vicarious Visions. But Activision shut down Vicarious Visions, turned them into like a Call of Duty support studio, so that sucks. This new game, Iron Galaxy, on the other hand, they did the Switch port for the original game. So that's kind of their determination to be in on the project. And when I saw this was announced, they released a trailer, and I was so excited by this trailer. Because my favorite Tony Hawk game is 4. Remember that. That'll be important. So, seeing, they open up the trailer with the college, and I was so excited to see the college again. You see them grinding off car, or, tailgating off a car. I was so excited. Like, oh my god, this sounds great. We see a bunch of returning tracks from 3 and 4, and they're adding new tracks. Right? Every previous track from 3 and 4 will be back. But we've got a new track, which is the water park. I think that the new water park track sounds like a fantastic idea. Of course, they're going to have a lot of returning music. I don't think they're going to get everything, but they're probably going to get a bunch of the returning music. I would say every skater is going to be here, but I guarantee you Darth Maul and Jango Fett, who were in the original, are not coming back. However, they did get somebody. They got Doom Guy. They also got one of the enemies from Doom, whose name I cannot remember, but they got Doom Guy. Because, now Tony Hawk Pro Skater is owned by Activision. Activision is owned by Microsoft. Yeah, Doom Guy. It's paid, admittedly, I think it's paid DLC, like you have to buy the deluxe edition. But I think I think that's a great addition. Give us Master Chief. Come on, it's Xbox. Give us Master Chief as well. I think that would also be a fantastic addition. Basically make him play like Jango Fett did. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So that's my hope. So all of that, so when I saw the trailer, I was super excited. I think that all looks fantastic. I like the new, you see the visual comparison. It all looks really good. I was excited. And then, just a few days later, they revealed there's a catch. We're getting 3 is gonna play exactly like how you remembered it. Exactly like 1 and 2 did. But if you've never played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, 4 is different. Because in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, there's a career mode. Instead of going into a level and having 2 minutes to do stuff, there's missions. You have to go up to NPCs, accept quests, perform their missions, and what you do in their missions can affect the level. It's really interesting. The mission mode is not coming back. The career mode is not coming back. Instead, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 in the remake is going to work like 1, 2, and 3. Where you're going to be sent into a level, you'll have 2 minutes to do stuff, and then you'll get kicked out and you'll have to, go back. Presumably hopefully they'll bring back like some of the challenges, like, grinding off the elephant, tricking off the Dean's car or whatever. Presumably some of those will still be there, but there won't be like an NPC who gives you a quest. There won't be like special skaters who give you a quest, and once you complete their quest, you unlock them as a character. And can I be honest? That might have killed the game for me. Because I like the mission mode in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. It's my favorite game kind of for that reason. It's kind of the reason I prefer like the skate games over some of the early Tony Hawk games. Because I like to, be able to go around, do the missions. The time limit in the early Tony Hawk games can feel kind of restrictive. I don't know. I'm going to play I own 1 and 2 on PS5. I think technically PS4. I'm going to play 1 and 2 again. I'm going to do it sometime this weekend. But if I'm not really feeling it, after replaying 1 and 2, if I'm not really feeling it, I don't think I'll pick up this remake. Them getting rid of career mode, I think killed it for me. Of course, stuff like Free Skate's gonna exist, but there will be no challenges in Free Skate. And I get it. The original, if you have a PS2 or an Xbox, you can go play the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater. That game still exists out there. But if you're gonna remake 1 and 2, remake 1 and 2. And I know, I listened to Tim Geddes talk about it, because he's on board with these changes. He's like, yeah, you know, the career mode, you know, it was different, but it was also kind of cringe. Some of those missions didn't hold up. And, like, even if he's right, which he probably is, I still would rather have the game as it was. Or maybe if they tried to find, like, some sort of balance between the two. I don't exactly know. But this, let's just say, last week I talked about how excited for this game I was, and my excitement has dwindled a lot. In literally just the past, like 7 hours? Because I only found out about this, like, earlier today. Because, I was listening to that Kind of Funny podcast on, like, my lunch break. So I'm a lot less excited for Tony Hawk Pro Skater than I want to be. And that kind of sucks, because I really did love 4. Alright, let's get into WIBE. We've got 2 food things to talk about real quick. We've got Daredevil, Born Again. I've seen the first 2 episodes. We've got Invincible. I got caught. I heard about, the episode that came out this week and was like, oh shit, I've got to get caught up. So I got caught up. So we've got a lot of things to talk about. Let me open a Pokemon pack real quick. Shit. I forgot I had to do this. Okay, Triumphant Light. Open the pack. Because usually we do this right during WIBE every week. I got an Azumarill, a Snorunt, a Gible, a Metachan, and a Staraptor. All cards I already have. Okay, whatever. I now have... I need to start opening 10 packs. Because I now have enough hourglasses to open a bunch of 10 packs, and I just haven't done it. Alright, so let's start off with Burger King. So Burger King has some new stuff. They have a new Steakhouse Bacon Whopper. So this is a Whopper... Let me just read the official thing. Burger King Steakhouse Whopper is a 1/4 of a pound flame-grilled beef patty with crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, crispy lettuce, melty Swiss cheese, and finished with signature steakhouse favorites, A1 sauce, crispy onions, and creamy peppercorn aioli. So I actually was like, oh, that doesn't sound too bad. And it's not a terrible burger. I think the Swiss cheese and the bacon works really well together. My problem is it's either, I don't know if it's the A1 sauce or the creamy peppercorn aioli, but one of those sauces, I think it's the peppercorn aioli, adds a little bit of sweetness to the burger that just doesn't sit right. It feels like, I don't want to say it's too much, but it adds like an unnecessary sweetness to a burger that otherwise isn't that sweet. So, like, if I got it without that, I'd probably like it a little bit more. Because, like, I think the bacon, the Swiss cheese, the onion strings, those all work really well together. But yeah, that peppercorn, I think it's the peppercorn. It just doesn't work. It might be the steak sauce, but I think it's the peppercorn. It just doesn't work. That's the one part that kills it for me. Other than that, I think it's okay. And then the other thing I tried was they have jalapeno cheddar bites. I'm assuming, I know they did cheesy tots a while ago, and those were okay. And this when I saw these cheddar bites, I was like, oh, it's basically those again. But I think this is supposed to be Burger King's attempt at, like, a jalapeno popper. Because I don't think they offer jalapeno poppers. I don't know, I could check. No, they don't. So yeah, this is basically their jalapeno cheddar bites are basically the equivalent of like a jalapeno popper. And I do like myself a jalapeno popper every once in a while. And these were okay. They're nothing, like, I've definitely had better jalapeno poppers at other places. Whenever I think of it, I usually think of the Sonic Burger. But I think it was fine. Yeah, you know, they were nothing amazing. They're kind of small, like I said. They're like tater tot size. You know, they've got for their size, you know, they have good proportions. There's not much. I think I did get the 8-piece just because they were so small. And that was like $3. But yeah, they're okay. They're nothing to write home about, but they're not terrible either. So yeah, that was Burger King. I know, right? Burger King is only amazing like 1 in every 8 times. And this was close to being that. I feel like, I probably used up too much of my luck last time. Because I feel like last time we talked about Burger King, I had a really good time. But this time, it was just okay. I've definitely had worse. So the other place I had this week was Domino's. So I've been a fan of Domino's for a few years now. I feel like every time someone brings up Domino's, they always go through the story of like, oh, Domino's used to suck, and then they brought in a new CEO who was like, yes, we suck. How do we fix it? And they basically reinvented themselves and actually are pretty decent nowadays. They're usually my second choice. Like if I'm getting pizza, my first choice is a local place. My second choice is Domino's. But the only time I don't go to either of those two places is for a stuffed crust pizza. I like a decent stuffed crust, but Domino's always didn't do stuffed crust. And I think the place that does stuffed crust the best is Pizza Hut. I know that, I know I give Chick-fil-A a lot of shit because, even though they're the ones who invented the chicken sandwich, I don't think they're the best at it. Pizza Hut's the one who invented the stuffed crust, and I do kind of think they're the best at it. And that's literally the only reason I ever go to Pizza Hut, is for their stuffed crust. Well, and I did like their hot honey pizza. That was actually pretty decent. But yeah, so Domino's, they don't do stuffed crust, but for the first time ever, they announced that, hey, yes, we're doing stuffed crust. People have been asking for it. Their profits have fallen a little bit in the past year. So they're doing stuffed crust. And so, of course, I was like, yeah, I've got to try that. So I went and got some, for me and my roommates. I got a pepperoni, just generic pepperoni. And then I did their, 4 cheese, whatever. It's like a Wisconsin cheese or whatever. And yeah, it's not bad. Admittedly, I do still stand by Pizza Hut is better. But it was not bad at all. I think I liked the Wisconsin cheese one a bit more because it was a very cheese-heavy pizza. They put, Parmesan and, garlic sauce on it. And I feel like, that... Because I know, Pizza Hut puts a bunch of butter on theirs. But, they put Parmesan and garlic because, it's Domino's. And yeah, it's not bad. It's admittedly, like I said, it's not. I still might go to Pizza Hut just for their stuffed crust. But yeah, to have Domino's do a stuffed crust, I liked it. I feel like, having it in the Wisconsin cheese or whatever, that worked well enough. My pepperoni one was a little, undercooked. So that might have been some of the problem. I feel like the Wisconsin cheese one was a little overcooked, and the pepperoni was a little undercooked. I don't know how they did that. But, they were fine. Domino's is still fine. I do, like every other business, I do feel like they've gotten a little worse since COVID. For Domino's to have a redemption and then fall back down after COVID, definitely. But it's not terrible. So yeah, would I recommend it? I mean, if you're one of the believers in the Domino's redemption arc, that again happened at this point a decade ago. Domino's redemption is nothing recent. That happened 10 years ago, and people will always bring it up. Yeah, no, if you're a believer in the Domino's redemption arc, then yeah, go for it. Give it a try. But if you're not, I don't think this is going to win you over. Again, I think Pizza Hut does it better. Because and God, don't even get me fucking started on Papa John's. Prappity Jams. So yeah. Okay, let's talk Daredevil. So... fuck, Daredevil. So for real quick, history with Daredevil. I watched the Netflix show and, I was big into the MCU. I watched the Netflix show at the time, really liked it. I watched Jessica Jones, Really liked it. Watched season 2. I liked season 2 of Daredevil. Watched Iron Fist, or no, Power Man. I watched Power Man next. I liked Power Man. Then Iron Fist came out, and I just did not vibe with Iron Fist. I know most people didn't vibe with Iron Fist. I never finished Iron Fist. I never watched The Defenders. I never watched Daredevil Season 3. I never watched Jessica Jones Season 2. I never watched The Punisher. I never watched Luke. I think Luke Cage had a second season. Yep, all those shows, I did not watch any of them. I saw up until Iron Fist. I got like halfway through Iron Fist, and it just was not my vibe. I wanted to like it, because I like Iron Fist and Power Man in the comics. They had a run going on at the time, the two of them. I thought it was a good run, but I just could not get into the Netflix show, man. And yeah, I never watched The Defense. I even tried to go back and watch it again. Like, I gave it a second shot, and even on a second shot, I couldn't get into it. I might have to give it a third. So that's my background on Daredevil going into this. So I had heard about the Netflix or the new show. I was interested. In theory, if the show is good, it should be able to appeal to me, even though I'd never seen the third season of the Netflix show. I know some stuff has happened with Hawkeye, with Echo, which also is a show I didn't finish. I only saw the first 2 episodes of Echo. I didn't finish that one either. But I was like, I'm sure I'll be fine to watch this. And now I know behind the scenes, this show has been in production hell. I get that. But I was still interested. So of course I was like, oh yeah, let's sit down and watch it. And I have to immediately give a spoiler warning. Okay? 100% spoiler warning right now. I literally cannot talk about this show without giving a spoiler warning. I mean, I'd say it's decent. I've enjoyed most of what I've seen so far. I feel like there's some really good ideas here. Is it different than the Netflix show? Yes. If you are a massive fan of the Netflix show and basically wanted season 4, that's not this. I 100% recommend watching the first 15 minutes of this show. And if you watch the first 15 minutes and are like, yeah, I'll keep watching that, then yeah, continue to watch it. But if you watch the first 15 minutes and are like, nah, fuck this, give up. Walk away. I could see that killing the show for people. But I watched the first 15 minutes, was like, yep, I'll survive this. And so yeah, full spoilers ahead. They kill off Foggy in the first 15 minutes of the episode. The episodes, this show, behind the scenes, this show was supposedly in production hell. They hired a bunch of new writers, new staff to go in. The only returning characters were Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio. And just things weren't going well. So then they came in and they're like, oh, things aren't going well. So let's bring back Foggy. Let's bring back Karen. And, set the show back on the right track. So that was kind of the idea I had going into this. So I start the episode, I'm watching the episode, and they're at the bar, they're drinking, and it's like, oh, it's just like old times, being reunited with, the people you used to know. It's like seeing them at like a high school reunion or something, and shooting the shit. So I was like, yeah, this is fine. Then Foggy gets a phone call. He steps outside, Karen falls after him, Matt goes off to investigate as Daredevil, and that's where Bullseye comes in. I know Bullseye was from the third season of the Netflix show. I haven't watched it. He kills Foggy. He shoots him in the chest. It's not a one-shot kill. He clearly wants him to suffer. So he kills Foggy, shoots him. Karen is there watching over his dead body as Matt, dressed up in the Daredevil costume, is chasing down Bullseye. And you get this one long shot, no edits, of them going into the bar. Matt's chasing him down, Bullseye's killing people, they're throwing knives into each other, They go up the stairs, they get up to the roof of the building, and the entire time you can hear Foggy's heartbeat in the background. I mean, it's not persistent, like sometimes it cuts out, but then it fills back in, and as the fight, again, all in one take, as the fight scene goes on, it starts getting slower and slower until Foggy eventually dies, and then Matt Murdock throws Bullseye off the roof, and he doesn't die. It is a fantastic opening. I think the action is good, the choreography is good, the heartbeat in the background is so well done. It makes the fight scene so much more intense. It is a really well done fight scene. But if you are a fan of the Netflix show, I'm assuming you're gonna hate this. That, you know, them killing off Foggy, Karen, you know, Paige, she goes off, she's now living in San Francisco or somewhere's on the West Coast. It might be in San Diego. She shows up a little bit more in the first episode at like a year, because after that you cut to a year later where Matt's given up being Daredevil, he's now got a new practice, and holy shit. Oh my god, what an opening. It is really good, really well done. But it's gonna piss people off. It didn't piss me off enough to stop watching the show. I felt the entire thing. I think it was well done. It definitely tugs at those emotional heartstrings. But it did not kill the show for me. Other than that, the rest of the first episode, you know, Kingpin's running for mayor. By the end of the episode, he's won the election. You know, him and his wife are having troubles. Matt is now, there's this new woman named Heather who, you know, he's kind of gotten set up with. You know, he gets tricked into going on a date. I think the rest of the episode is fine. But that opening is so strong. So yeah, I was sold off the first episode. The second episode, so Daredevil shows up at the beginning of the episode. He's not, as he is Daredevil, right? In the costume and everything. He doesn't show up again in the costume in the second episode either, right? Outside of that opening scene, you don't see him again in the costume. So in the second episode, you also get a really good scene in the first episode of Matt talking to Fisk, and they go to like a cafe and they talk it over, because clearly at some point Fisk learned that Matt is Daredevil. I don't know when that happened. Probably in season 3, you know, Fisk is like, I had nothing to do with the death of your friend. But clear, you know, they show off the complication of their relationship. You know, getting people like me who, you know, haven't seen some of this up to speed on what's going on. I think it does a fine enough job at what it's doing. The second episode, I'm actually intrigued by the lawyer stuff. They're setting up, so I can't remember if this happens in the first or the second episode. But there's this guy, he's walking home, getting on the subway, and he sees two guys beating up a third guy. So he, you know, Fisk's whole thing is he wants to make vigilantes illegal. And so this guy sees it and is like, okay, he's going to step in, he's going to save the third guy from the other two. He gets in a fight with the other two guys, he's beating them up, they're beating him up. And because they're on the subway, one guy gets thrown onto the tracks and gets hit by a train. That's when it's revealed that the first two guys are actually cops. That the guy gets arrested for killing a cop as the third guy gets away. So already I think that's an interesting... The scene, the whole bit of like, hey, this is the case. You know, Fisk is trying to outlaw vigilantes. This guy, not as a costume superhero, was, you know, just trying to help somebody out. You know, he saw somebody in trouble. I already think that's a good setup for the show. But then you get the added layer in the second episode where you find out this guy is a masked vigilante. He is White Tiger. He was not in the costume when everything happened, right? He was not in the costume, you know, trying to save this guy getting beat up. It was just him in his civilian clothes. But he is a masked vigilante. And so that adds all these new implications to the case. And I think that's really interesting. Like, that reveal of him being White Tiger genuinely shocked me. I think that's a good reveal. I think that makes things way more interesting. I'm actually totally invested in the lawyer stuff. I think they're asking some interesting questions with some interesting idea. He goes to the judge and are like, hey, can we strike him being a superhero or, a masked vigilante from the court case? Like, it is not relevant to what happened here. He was not in costume when the event occurred. And the judge actually tells him, yes, he can. So that's going to have some interesting implications. So I like all that. And then you get to the end of the episode. And the end of the episode, so Matt finds out who the third guy was, the guy who got away, goes to him and is like, hey, if we're going to save my client, who I'm just going to call White Tiger, if we're going to save him, I'm going to need your testimony. Also, the cops are here and they're going to try to kill you. So he helps the guy escape. He stays behind and waits for the cops. The cops come in, realize what's happened, start beating up Matt, and holy shit, he's got a Punisher tattoo. Because if you don't know, here in the States, but presumably in other places, but definitely in the States, cops have adopted the Punisher as like their symbol, which is fucking awful, by the way. ACAB, fuck the police. They should not be if a police reps the Punisher, that is the last thing you want. I do not want that from law enforcement at all. It'd be like a police repping Judge Dredd. It's very fucking dystopian, because that is the antithesis of what the cops should be. So seeing that, because I know in recent comics, the Punisher actually changed his logo and disavowed all cops because, ACAB, because he does not represent police. And I really hope the show goes for it. I hope to God the Punisher shows up in this show and either kills these cops or, rips up his logo in front of them just like he did in the comics. I want him to take that one step beyond, obviously, but the Punisher logo, I did not expect. Early on in the episode, Fisk mentions the Punisher. He also mentions Spider-Man, but I was just like, oh, that's one of those small connections. I know in the original season of Daredevil, you see the Avengers Tower, so I didn't really think much of it. But actually seeing the Punisher logo, holy shit, they better do something with that. If they do not do something with that by the end of the season, then fuck, man. But I think that was good. The fight scene between Matt and the two cops is really well done as well. It's very quick, but it is good. So yeah, I'm interested in Daredevil. I think what it's doing so far is good. I do like it, and I'm not in love with it. It's probably an 8 out of 10 for me. But I do like so far what we've seen. They're setting up Muse in the background, and that's gonna be interesting, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see on that one. Okay, so let's go from one big superhero show to the other one. Invincible. So, where we left off in Invincible, we did season 3, episode 4. Mark was... Oh god, what was season 3, episode 4? That was Mark and Oliver at the... Was that them at the prison? I'm gonna have to look it up. Give me a second. Give me a... Alright, so season 3, episode 4... Oh yeah, it was Mark and Mark dealing with oh yeah, it's time travel. Time travel. Mark, and this is worded weird. He goes into the future to, help out the two people voiced by Blue Beetle, and he finds out the king is immortal. He has to kill a mortal. And it's good. I remember the story from the comics. And then the second half of the episode was Nolan and Alan escaping prison. So episode 5, I had heard episode 5 was the slow episode. was the filler episode. Or, God, I don't remember where we were last week. I'd heard it was the filler one. Basically, Multipole breaks out of prison. Mark has to come in and stop him. Meanwhile, Titan is like trying to recruit Mark to help him, you know, doesn't want the Order messing up the prison. And yeah, it is mostly the filler episode. You know, Eve starts Invincible Inc., where they're, you know, guards for hire at the prison. And I did like to see Mark and Eve fighting together. I think that was all good. I like the whole joke in the episode where they're trying to hide from Debbie that they're having sex. And then at the end of the episode, she reveals that, yeah, she knows they're having sex. That was a good joke. God, I remember this stuff. Fuck. So I think all of that's good. The whole prison thing. Yeah, is this filler? Yes, but I still think there's some interesting things here. I like how Multipole gets out of prison for the first time, where he just creates a bunch of clones of himself until they push beyond the limits of the door and just bust through. I think that was all good. The actual whole thing with, you know, there's double crosses upon double crosses. At first you think Titan's been double crossed, and it's revealed that no, actually, he hasn't been. They break Machine Head out of prison, and he's the one who kills Mr. Liu. I think it was Mr. Liu. The guy who turns into a dragon. Mark fighting the dragon was good. Even though, you know, he thinks he kills it, and then nope, it can't be killed unless you kill the human body. And then at the end of the episode, Titan basically puts Machine Head in charge of the Order. Which I'll be honest, I don't remember any of this Order stuff from the comics. I'm going to have to pull my comics out of storage, because that's where I have them right now. I need to look at them again. I don't remember, I remember this prison break stuff, at least I think I do. But I don't remember Machine Head taking over the Order. Someone pointed out that one of the members of the Order is, War Woman's girlfriend from the first episode of the show, which, like, that has interesting implications. Are they ever actually going to do anything with that? I hope so. Because, see, I'll be honest, I don't remember how the Titan story ends. It's kind of been a while. I don't remember where all the Titan stuff goes. But I think what's here is all good. Is this a filler episode? Yeah, it is. But sometimes you need filler episodes. I stand by, you know, yes, we can see action and whatnot all day long. But if you don't know the little things about the little things make the world feel lived in. It makes the world feel alive. I'm fine with an episode with less stakes every once in a while. And with what's coming up next, holy shit, man. So episode 6 is Powerplex. Powerplex, played by Aaron Paul, Jesse Pinkman himself. Great casting, by the way. Powerplex is one of those things, I'll be honest, I thought it happened in the second season. I did not remember it. I was like, I don't know, for some reason I thought it happened in the second season. What can I say, it's been a while. But no, I think they did Powerplex so well here. So Powerplex's whole thing is that he hates Invincible. He thinks that, you know, on top of just Nolan being the one who destroyed Chicago, he blames Invincible. I don't know how much of his backstory they've changed here. But basically, in the episode, he had a sister and a niece. They lived in Chicago. When Nolan destroyed Chicago while fighting his son, his sister and niece died in the Chicago incident. I don't remember that from Powerplex's original story. It might have always been there. I don't remember it. But I think that adds great depth to the character. I like seeing as they like slowly build him up. You know, we get to see him fight Shapesmith. Another thing I don't remember happening. But you know, he's got the full support of his wife, which is something that I do remember from the comics. I like them going to the Chicago Memorial, and you know, Mark wondering should he even be there, Powerplex coming to like call Mark out, and then Eve is the one who instead steps in and takes care of him. I think that's all good, you know, as they slowly build it up. Again, Aaron Paul does fantastic as Powerplex. They I'm not gonna say they go above and beyond, but they have deepened his character by adding, you know, the elements of his sister And, you know, as we slowly see it build up, as, you know, he doesn't want to hurt people. You know, originally Mark just ignores him because, you know, he's got William's birthday. He's got other things to do. But as it was building up, even though I knew what was going to happen, I was still like, I was dreading it. I was like, oh shit, oh no. I like genuinely really did care. Again, I know we talked last week or 2 weeks ago about how when the show wants to be shocking, even though, you know, you expect the violence and whatnot, the show can still be shocking when it wants to. And I think what they did with Powerplex here, it had the exact emotion they wanted me to feel. I felt it. So spoiler alert for, you know, the end of episode 6 and the entirety of episode 7. So at the end of episode 6, Powerplex basically makes a fake hostage situation where he claims his wife and child are the hostages just to lure out Invincible. Invincible comes out, tries to talk to him, tries to get him to release the hostages, and then they can talk. He refuses. He starts fighting Invincible. It escalates, and eventually Powerplex does this big attack, and in the process, the feedback kills his wife and child. And I felt the weight of it. Holy shit. It is so well done. Him turning around, seeing his dead wife and child. Oh my god, I felt it. This show is so fucking good, man. The writing is so good. The voice acting is fantastic. Oh my god. And then at the end, you know, Mark tries to tell him, like, oh, you know, I understand. I'm going to take responsibility. And Powerplex is like, no, it doesn't. What you say doesn't bring me any comfort. And it's just so well done. Oh my god, the show's so good. And then the episode ends with the teaser of Angstrom Levy. He is still alive. So we get that teaser. And then the next episode, episode 7, is the Invincible War. I knew this was coming. Admittedly, I did not remember what happened first, the Invincible War or Conquest. No, we get the Invincible War first, which we're basically almost halfway through the story. And yeah, so this big thing is Angstrom Levy, you know, he can travel the multiverse. He survived Mark's, you know, killing him in the last season, because he didn't actually die. He goes to alternate universes and recruits alternate universe versions of Mark and promises that, hey, if they go to Mark's world, you know, the main Invincible, I don't know if they use, like, universe distinctions. Let's just call him, right, mainline Invincible, and destroy his world. The people of the world will hate Invincible, and then he'll give them whatever they want, right? For some of them, they want multiple worlds to conquer. Which, that's how I remember it in the comics. I think they add an interesting detail here, where not all of them are trying to conquer the world. One of them, well, I think it was like not Hooded Mark. They all have different names. One of them, right, just wants his mom back. That his mom died, and he just wants her back. That's his motivation. And I love how he tells, like, the others, like, you all have people you cared about. And one of the other ones is just like, I kind of miss William. I liked that moment. That was a good moment. But so they each have their own motivation. And yeah, we see all the heroes of the world assemble to fight. I think there's 18 different Marks. And we see a lot of different heroes. Now, in the comics, this is like a big crossover event where, like, everybody is here. Like, Spawn shows up in the comics. So it was, of course, who's going to be here, who's not going to be here. That became the big question. They do get some of them. They don't get everybody. Like, Spawn is not here. And they didn't, you know how, like, Season 2 did the whole Agent Spider thing? They didn't even try that. But we do get a lot, you know, we get Kid Thor finally. Britt shows up, played by Mike from Breaking Bad. I can't remember the actor's actual name. Which, you know, people didn't think Britt was going to be in the show because Britt's part of Cecil's backstory. And he wasn't in that episode. So, you know, people didn't think Britt was going to be here. Britt's actually here. And yeah, I think the casting is fine. The other one, Tech Jacket. Tech Jacket is an important character later. And yeah, sure enough, he shows up here and he kills Viltrumite Mark. He kills one of them. And that was, you know, that's good. At least I think he killed him. He might not have. But, you know, Tech Jacket's an important character for later. I stand by. I think, you know how they did the Adam Eve special? I think they should do a Tech Jacket special. Because he does play a role in the Viltrumite War. He is important later. So I think they should do a Tech Jacket special. I don't need a whole show, but a special would be nice. There's a few other important, there's a few other reference characters. I think it's not werewolf, but he's a werewolf. He's another character that makes a cameo in Invincible. He's got a whole crossover, and he was in this episode. Because it's weird what characters they can use and can't use. Like, they can use Tech Jacket, but they can't use Science Dog. Instead, they call him Seance Dog. You know, they can't use Spider-Man, but they can use Brit. It's just kind of, it's interesting what they can and can't use. And I know behind the scenes they want to use everything. If they could have it their way, they'd have every character. But clearly, you can't have it every way. But the Invincible War, right? We see all these different heroes go out, fight different Viltrumites. Immortal is still fucking useless. In the past 24 hours, I have learned two important things about the show. People hate Immortal because he dies for a second time in this episode. He comes back to life, but he does die. So people hate Immortal, and people love Rex. I knew what was going to happen to Rex. There are so many death flags in this episode for Rex. So in the comics, Shrinking Ray is a boy, and Shrinking Ray dies when the Serpent Society goes into the missile base. In the show, they made Shrinking Ray a girl, she survives, and she starts dating Rex. So many fucking red flags. In the filler episode, Rex buys a meal kit and makes them dinner. They kind of go on a date. It's all good. So I knew Rex was gonna die, but it's still Rex has gotten, because Rex gets a redemption in the comics, but honestly, having him get into a relationship with Shrinking Ray just makes his death hit so much harder. His redemption is better in the show. His death hits harder. It really is. They're just taking stuff from the comics, and they're just making little changes that make a world of difference. Because, yeah, Rex, even though the Immortal, who, again, people hate, dies, and he gets killed by one of the Marks, who he can't kill, Rex comes in and blows up his own skeleton, killing one of the Marks. Rex is every bit of a hero that the Immortal isn't. And then, of course, at the end of the episode, the Immortal survives. He comes back from the dead, and he announces his retirement and his plan to go start a family with Duplicate. And, of course, everyone's like, why does Rex have to die? And why does that piece of shit loser Immortal get to live? The Immortal is the Drake of this situation. I guess that's the best way to put it. Man, fuck the Immortal. Why does he get to live? And then Shrinking Ray doesn't die either. She's still around. What the fuck are they gonna do with her? Because we're in uncharted territory here. But yeah, it's the Invincible War is a great episode. They faithfully adapt it from the comics. It's really well done. Character motivation's all great. Eve's taken out of it for most of the Invincible War. She gets, her leg broken and then thrown into a coma. It's important for stuff later, but it happens here. So that's all good. That's so good. And then at the end, Mark has his one-on-one fight with Angstrom Levi. Basically Angstrom says he's gonna kill his family, kill everyone he loves, and this pisses off Mark enough. He goes after him, right? He pushes through, and then Oliver comes in and tells him, like, hey, you have to kill Angstrom Levy, or else he's just going to come back and do this again. And Mark agrees. Again, we're in the blue suit era. It's the dark era of Invincible. Of course he agrees. Angstrom gets away. He's now, you know, I think they're called the Inquisitors, the Investors, whatever they are. Clearly, you know, he's no longer in control. Something's going to happen there. You'll find out later. I already know what happens, but you'll find out later. But that's all good. That's all well done. And yeah, the war ends. You know, Mark tries to help clean up, because, you know, many cities have been destroyed across the US, across the world. As he's going to try to clean up, he runs into Powerplex, who tries to kill him, because Powerplex kills one of the alternate universe Invincibles. And he's so satisfied. Like, the smile on his face. But yeah, he gets stopped by Britt. So, right, you see Mike and Jesse together again. And so Mark's, you know, he's worried about Eve. He meets Eve's parents. The dad hates him, man. That's, you know, the character people hate more than the Immortal, Eve's dad. I know people don't like the mom either, but yeah. So at the end of the episode, Eve is still in a coma. Mark goes out to, I think, New York to help with the cleanup. He's not working for Cecil. Cecil asks him to come back, lead the Guardians of the Globe. Mark refuses, but says that, hey, if anything ever happens, you know I'll be there. And then as he's going to help out with the cleanup in New York, you get the voice of Conquest. Now, Conquest is voiced by Jeffrey D. Morgan, who is Negan in The Walking Dead? That sounds right. And, you know, which is crazy, because Steven Yeun, who voices Invincible, is the guy he killed. Right? You know, Negan kills the guy with the baseball bat. I can't remember what the character's name is. I hadn't watched The Walking Dead in years by the time that episode happened. Glenn? I think his name was Glenn. So, right, again, another reunion there. And I've heard some people complain about Jeffrey D. Morgan's voice, that it's not deep enough, it's not gruff enough, and that they're all comparing it to, you know, they basically want Thanos. They want Thanos' voice, and they're disappointed it's not Thanos, or, you know, whatever other AI voice they've created. I think it's fine. When I heard it, I think he did a fine read on the line. I'm curious to see how much it's going to escalate. And yeah, I think it's a great ending point for the episode. I'm very excited to see what happens with Conquest next. Again, I know how some things play. I know how it plays out in the comics. But I'm curious to see what the show's going to do different. Because clearly the show is doing things differently. But yeah, Invincible is still fantastic. I know people have been bitching and moaning about the animation. The animation is fine. I feel like for the Invincible War, they did a good job. It looks fine. I'm sure they're going to put some extra budget into this final Conquest fight. They're going to put their... I'm not even going to make that joke, never mind. I'm sure it'll be fine. I think everything looks decent. You know, I've seen a lot of debate, you know, how entitled Invincible fans are, and yeah, they are really acting like Steven Universe or Pokemon fans right now. I'll give them that. Very opposite fandoms. Nice. But here's the thing. The animators, the animation, you know, Robert Kirkman, all the people who work on this show, have clearly tried, over the past 3 seasons, they have tried to find a balance between, you know, making a show that looks okay, getting a season out basically every year, you know, working within a budget, trying not to be canceled, because literally every streaming show gets canceled nowadays. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but everything is canceled nowadays. And you know, if they can get out a new season every year on a budget, they are less likely to be canceled. I'm just saying. Here. And the fact that everyone's talking about the show also helps out a lot. Not that that's a guarantee for anything, Again, Netflix has canceled shows for less. But no, as if the I think it was Danny Mata who brought up the point, like, hey, you only get one chance to do this. If they take more time on the animation or whatever, you gotta do that, because you gotta make it right. Because you only get one chance to do this. And I completely agree with that point. But if, all the people, Kirkman, Rogan, if they're all happy with what they're putting out, then I see no problem with it. And the changes they're making, I think, are all good changes. Like, so one of the plots in the comics is that Amber's boyfriend is abusive. When Amber first starts dating a new boy, he's abusive, he hits her, gives her a big swollen black eye, and Mark goes and, like, does a Batman, right? Dangles him off a building, threatening to kill him. And after that, he never does it again, and he becomes a decent boyfriend. But they're not going to do that plot in the show, because Amber is just a completely different character. And instead, when we see the boyfriend, he's, he and Mark actually get along. They both like Seance Doll. So they're making changes, but I think they're all good changes. It's like, that Scott Pilgrim, right? Scott Pilgrim was very different as a show, but that was very clearly intentional, because they were trying to tell a very different story and address some of the issues with the original comic. The 23-year-old dating a 17-year-old, or however old Scott was. Like, they're trying to address some of that shit. And I think they did a fine job there, even if it's not what people wanted. And I think they're doing an even better job here. I don't know, I really have to pull out my comics, because I read Invincible. So here's something I noticed. By the end of episode 4 or 5, did we even talk about episode 4 last week? If we only got to episode 3, I would sadly not be surprised. So, at the end of episode 4, Nolan and Alan break out of prison, and Nolan reveals there are only 50 Viltrumites left. When I first started reading Invincible back in, 2018 at the recommendation of Comic Drake, that was where I stopped reading. The issue where Nolan reveals there's only 50 Viltrumites left was where I stopped. Why did I stop there? I legitimately have no idea. It was kind of one of those things where I just kind of put the book down, and then I didn't pick it back up until season 1 of the show premiered, and then I read the entire rest of the series. So yeah, that was an interesting point to be like, yeah, when I first started reading this is where I was in the when the show premiered, this is the point I had read to in the comics. This is where I was reading it back in 2018. So that was interesting. But yeah, the show's good. I'm so excited for the season finale next week. I'm super curious to see what they're going to do with Conquest. I hope it's great. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be, because everything else has been so good. So I'm going to say that takes us to the outro. So here at the end, what's next? So this week, right, we did things a little differently. I had a main topic of the show. My goal with the topics is I've done so many Switch prediction videos, I don't want to do another one. So I'm trying to focus in on different things. This week we made a Mario Kart game. I think next week I want to maybe do a Mario game. Like, hey, let's create the next 3D Mario platformer. So I think that's what we're going to do next week, probably in a very similar style. And then at some point, the one thing again, stealing stuff from Kinda Funny, because that's clearly what we've been doing recently. They recently did a shit list that was the top 20/top 25 Switch games. And I think that would be a fun stream. Either right before the Switch 2 releases, or right before the Switch 2 Direct, is we do the top 20 Switch games, or top 10, or we do a tier list, or something. I feel like that could be a lot of fun. So I am thinking about doing that sometime here in the near-ish future. So yeah, that's one idea. But I think next week we're going to make a Mario game. Because I've got some ideas, you know. I've been talking a lot about Mario, you know, multiverse and whatnot. Maybe I actually just fucking make that. But, well, we'll talk more about that next week. Other than that, we still gotta do Moon Girl, man. My goal tonight was to beat 2 worlds. We've beaten 2 worlds. I'm gonna call it right here. We've been going for almost 3 hours. At some point, there will be no news, and we will literally just talk about Moon Girl. At some point, there will be nothing, and we'll talk about Moon Girl for like an hour. Because I do need to do it. I watched the show like weeks ago now, and I guarantee you I've already forgotten stuff. But go watch Moon Girl, it's good. And yeah, Donkey Kong. We're working on Tropical Freeze. We'll probably be working through Tropical Freeze for most of the month. And at some point I gotta do shiny hunting, but I'll do that later. I don't know. Oh, and then my other thing, for sometime in March, we're gonna do Zelda. Probably not next week. Maybe next week. Either next week or the week after that. At some point, we're gonna do Echoes of Wisdom. I wanted to do it in March. We're gonna do it in March. So I'm gonna make that promise right now. At some point in March. Before the end of the month. But that's where we're going to end off for today. You know, I did most of what I wanted. So I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Till next time. Peace.